Welcome to the Horror Hangout, a podcast where film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and talk about them. My name is Ben Errington, and today I am joined by regular co-host Mr.
Andy Conduit Tanner. Hello, Ben. How are you?
Hi there. Hello. Just the two of us this week.
Yeah, just the two of us. Which,
Did you
in some
know?
ways it's nice. Nice to have a quiet one, but you do miss the guests when they're not here, don't you?
Did you know that we haven't done an episode with three of us, the two of us, and a guest for ages? I had to go all the way back. I think it was back in March when Nico joined us. That was the last time. Other than that,
Wow.
any guests we had, we were alternating. So if you listen to last week's freeze up, it may be why it was an extended bumper crazy episode, was because we
Lots of
couldn't
energy,
believe.
lots to share.
Lots of energy to share, exactly. So now a solemn, quiet episode this week, right?
Not going to be solemn with this movie though, Ben, because this is a bloody riot, isn't it?
Oh man, it sure is. Again, and I'm getting to a point where I've probably said this a lot of times, surprised we have never covered this film before, because I think in terms of 90s creature features, I mean this is up there, right? I mean what
Yeah.
else alongside 90s creature features would you say? Anaconda, Arachnophobia, Deep Blue
The,
Sea,
the Relic,
The Relic,
done
um
that. We've done all those
yeah,
others.
Lake Placid, is that 90s, that early
Yeah,
2000s?
it's got to be 99 maybe, I reckon.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Um So yeah, in terms of creature features in the 90s, this is up there. Not just because of the cast, because the cast is stacked, and maybe it was a cast that when the film came out probably didn't feel quite as stacked as it does looking back on it, because I think maybe like Owen Wilson wasn't a huge name at this point. Obviously J-Lo was, and Ice Cube, yes. But I don't know. It just feels, but having someone like Owen Wilson in what feels like a bit of a minor role.
There's Gary, the soundman.
Gary, Gary the Soundman, Gary the Soundman, who's easily led when he thinks he's going to be lining his pockets with anything. Okay, 90s creature feature. So I've given it a little Google. Mimic, Tremors,
Mimic, that's got to go on the list to do at some point, hasn't
Deep
it?
Rising. Again, I don't think we've covered Mimic directly, but Mimic was shown at the Forbidden Worlds Film Festival
Yeah,
last
you've
year.
mentioned
After,
it on that one, right?
so I did watch it, and then we covered Christine for that episode. But I saw it on an IMAX screen. Mimic,
I'd go
Guillermo del Toro,
I'd go Mimic again. By
Cockroach
the way,
Man.
Ben, before you get to it, I looked it up. Fucking nailed it on Lake Placid, 99.
There we go. Hell yes, nailed. Lake Placid feels like a good film to have like a double bill with this, right? If we're
Yeah.
looking for,
Betty White, Bill Pullman. I'm pretty sure, Ben, I need to Google this. I didn't get a chance before we came on to record. I think eventually those two franchises meet head on. I'm fairly sure there is a Lake Placid versus Anaconda.
no way, really?
The internet will know. Lake Placid versus Anaconda, 2015,
Oh my
directed
God,
by
you're
A.B.
right.
Stone. The
Directed by
worst
who?
thing is, Ben, I mean,
Oh my
it's
God, Robert England's
completely
in it.
in a dusty corner of my mind palace. But at some point, I rated that film 2 stars. I have seen it.
You've seen it. Robert England's in it, right? I'm seeing a screenshot of him. I'm hoping that maybe there's a mistake.
Oh, as Bickerman. Yeah, he's like an enemy scientist, and like like a neighbor they don't enjoy.
Right, without looking, can you tell me how many Lake Placid movies there are and how many Anaconda movies there are?
Oh, without looking, and I promise I haven't cheated. I think it's what are you counting Lake Placid versus Anaconda? Is that one for each?
Let's count it as one for each, yeah.
Okay, I think it's 4 and 5. I think there's four. Sorry, so yeah, so four Anacondas plus
Yeah.
Lake Placid versus Anaconda, and then three Lake Placids, and then Lake Placid versus Anaconda.
Is this because I mentioned the Anaconda quadrilogy to you?
No,
As a-
I was in the middle of
Okay.
work when he texted me that, so I did not retain any of that information.
So we've got Anaconda, Anacondas, The Hunt for the Blood Orchid.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that one. I definitely haven't seen it anymore. Anaconda 3 Offspring with David Hasselhoff as the lead. Anacondas Trail of Blood. We've gone back to Anacondas again. and then Lake Placid versus Anaconda. So there's
Okay, so
four,
I nailed that one. And then how many Lake Placids?
four, and then that one. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
And in Lake Placid, there's one more, I think. Sorry, I've gone back off. Lake Placid 2, Lake Placid 3, Lake Placid, the final chapter. Evidently not, because then it's Lake Placid versus Anaconda, and
I was
then
one short.
Lake Placid Legacy.
Comes
Have you nailed
back.
it? Have
No,
you
I
absolutely
was.
nailed it?
Oh no, I was the wrong
One,
way. I
two,
thought it
three,
finished
four,
that.
five.
Oh, the five
I
of
thought you got.
each. Oh, it's
I
one
thought you
out.
got. I don't know. We're gonna have to go back and do an
Check the tape,
official
everybody. But
check the tape because I feel like you've got that right. Um, Confusing when you try and say Lake Placid versus Anaconda. I didn't know that was a thing. Lake Placid versus. Does it take place at Lake Placid? Then I guess it does.
I guess it has to because the anacondas have to come to them because anacondas are
You
not
you'd be well
location bound.
annoyed if you were the titular, not the titular,
If
but
you were
the
Lake Placid,
if you were Lake Placid. Wait, what is it? A crocodile, isn't it?
yeah,
Um, if you were the crocodile from Lake Placid, you'd be annoyed that you were just known as Lake Placid, and Anaconda's just known as Anaconda, not
you
the
want a name?
river. What river? What river is he knocking about in old Anaconda?
Amazon.
Amazon River. Yeah, that's it. It sounds. You know what? My brain is rotted by modern life because when I thought Amazon River in my head, it sounded wrong, and the reason it sounded wrong was because of Amazon, the website. Amazon to get it delivered tomorrow. Crap. Because that's literally I
Bezos
went.
has
Oh, I
ruined an
literally went
entire river
on
for
the
you.
Amazon River. Grow up. There's going to be something called the Nile. Or something. I'm going to go the Nile. That's a river,
Yeah.
is it? Yeah. All right.
Ironically, you're gonna not admit it exists, meaning that you're actually in that river.
I can see where you're going with this, Andy.
I'm not finishing it. You can work that out yourself.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. We'll let anyone finish it themselves. Um, but yeah. Do we? I mean, how many of those films have you seen? Just a sprinkling. You
I
say
hate
all of
to
them.
say it, with the exception of the post crossover Lake Placid, I reckon I've seen all of these.
Wow. Okay. Now I looking at it. So as I said, Anaconda and Anacondas I've seen. Don't remember anything about Anacondas, and I'm pretty sure I've only seen Lake Placid, the original. Um, but yeah, looking at this, man. There's like box sets and everything. We got
Time for a
the whole
revisit, you know, Ben.
collection of Anaconda. I definitely want to see Lake Placid again, and you know what? We should definitely cover it at some point. It should go on the list. We've got a list. I don't know if you've seen me tinkering away at the old list we've got, Andy. We've both got
I
access to
haven't. I
it.
know I'm due to go in and like put on a
Done some
list of our.
tinkering, added some stuff on there. I'm gonna get in there and add Lake Placid because otherwise we may forget. I'm sure we do. But yeah. Should we do some? I've got a little bit of horror news,
Bit of
and
news.
you'll never believe it. It's all game related. Now, the reason it's game related is because we had Summer Games Fest. We had the Xbox showcase. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So lots of news for game stuff. Although I think all three of these pieces of news were from the Summer Game Fest. Um, so on the last episode, we mentioned Night Dive Studios are probably working on a remastered version of The Thing, the PS2 game. And now we've got confirmation and we've got trailer and we've got screenshots. So yeah, a completely remastered version of the PS2 game, The Thing. Did I ask you this last week? Did you play this game?
Yeah, I had it on Xbox back in the day. I don't
Oh,
think I got
nice.
incredibly far in it,
It was
but
hard, wasn't it? I remember it being hard.
it was hard, and I think now, like gameplay wise, we're more used to it. Like it came out at a time when games were a little bit more, even with Resident Evil, like there was a thing that you were doing, and your
Yeah.
particular items were survival moments and things where things could go right or wrong were triggered in
Yeah.
scripted moments. Whereas actually, the mechanics of the game, the thing, there was a fear and trust mechanic that you were playing with,
Yeah. Oh
and
my
people could
God.
be the
Yeah.
thing at any different at certain different times. And a bit like the films, the thing, it was very much like it had a certain element of randomness to it. And
Yeah.
I found it very uncomfortable to play. I was like,
It was
I am
incredibly
stressed out
uncomfortable
that I
to play.
can't, there's the fear of the actual of the game and the thing that might scare you as a player. But then there was a more melodramatic fear of my own. Like, I'm uncomfortable with this. I can't play this game perfectly. I don't understand how this is going to
Yeah.
work, and I didn't manage to finish it.
It's not
But
fair. It's too hard. I
yeah,
feel like the world of the thing is one of the like the worlds I least want to spend time in as well. Like it is such a horrible, scary, grubby place to be, unnerving. Like seeing anyone turn into the thing, like the shuddering and the tendrils and all that stuff. Like it's horrible enough watching it on screen, let alone like being in playing a game where you're in control of like a character living or dying or and having to flamethrower the shit out of something. Not pleasant.
I mean, what we could do, Ben, is if it's going to be uncomfortable for both of us, maybe when it comes out, we'll plan some time to, we'll extend one of the events we go out together. We'll stay for a bit extra time. We'll bring a console with us. We'll set it out, and we'll take it in turns to play it. We'll do
Oh,
some live
do a
video to
bit
do it,
each.
and then at one point, the person who's uncomfortable watching it will have to be tied to this fucking couch to watch it. You
Oh my
spend all
God.
winter there.
So how'd you tie someone to a couch? I always thought that meant I suppose all the way around.
The
You have
rope
to go,
over it,
wouldn't you?
yeah. I guess it's because they're
You
all
have to
tied in a
go.
line, weren't they?
Yeah. Embarrassing. It was similar in a way. Like when I played Resident Evil when I was a kid, I used to have to get a family member to like sit in the room with me. Not all the time, because most of the time they'd be like, "No, I don't want to. I'm
It's
bored. That's
boring.
boring."
Yeah.
But like the amount of times I get my sister, "Oh, come in and look at this next bit," and she'd like come in and look, and it'd just be like me doing a puzzle or something, and I'd be like, "No, hang around for a bit longer," because I wanted someone to be there at the moment like I was a jump scare happened, so I could just be like, "Ha ha ha ha, yeah, that's
I find it
scary, isn't
funny,
it?"
actually. That's
Whereas on my own, I think I'm more like, oh, sweaty palms. Um, which I still get now playing horror games, like there are definitely bits where I'm just like locked in and genuinely like scared. Like even like Dead Space, the remake in comparison to the thing, the game. At least with Dead Space, you go into an area, some necromorphs are going to attack you, probably from that direction, then probably from behind you as well. But once you're done with that, you're all right for a bit.
yeah.
Because I feel like the thing is just a little bit
Your
relentless.
mates
Because
could be the thing, couldn't they? But
even in the
that's
moments where you're with your mates, it could thing you.
always be the thing. Or have a go at you and say you're the thing and turn against you. It's all sides.
Me the thing. You're the thing.
I'm
You
the bloody
pick me
player.
the
I'm not
thing.
going to be the thing, am I? Come on.
Oh bloody hell! What you on about? If anyone's the thing, it's definitely you. Um, yeah. On top of that, there was a announcement for Alan Wake 2 DLC called Night Springs. Not only DLC, but a physical release is happening as well.
Your
Pre-orders are
dream,
available
Ben.
now. My dream essentially, because I refused and still refuse to pay like a certain price for digital only games because it feels wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'll come around to that eventually. But the thought of paying like I don't know 60 quid for a digital only release, I want to see it on my shelf, and call me old school, mate. All right, call me old school. But I do enjoy that. So yeah, that's great news for me. I'm gonna be picking that up. Finally, it does feel like I'm a bit behind, but at the same time, I don't think I've seen any spoilers or anything like that. I've managed to avoid pretty much anything and everything, sorry. And Night Springs,
I mean,
I
don't feel
think they're
silly for waiting for a physical copy, Ben. Feel silly if you were me, who had plenty of time to even pre-order the game but hadn't had found time to play it yet. So sucks to be me. So
oh man. I think Alan Wake Remastered is involved in one of the physical. I think if you
oh,
pre-order
lovely
the
double
physical
bill.
and you get the other game as well. I think maybe don't want to get that wrong. But it does look like we've got controls Jesse Faden involved in Night Springs DLC. I don't know in what format, but I've seen some stuff. And as someone who platinumed Control fairly recently and enjoyed all the instances of Alan Wake being involved in that. Some nice crossover is lovely. Um, and yeah, it looks like the world that they've built. Because on the surface, I could have easily looked at Alan Wake 2 being released and thinking, I don't know how well it's going to do in terms of, being a popular game, but also selling loads of copies. I don't know because it's a franchise that's kind of had one installment that was just on Xbox a long time ago. How well is it going to do? And I'm just like, I love the fact that it's done so well and like
Yeah.
it's right there in the zeitgeist of like horror games and stuff, and it's making celebrities of everybody. Sam Lake, uh, the guy who plays Alan Wake's face, but not his voice. Is that right?
Yeah, he's the face of
Yeah.
no, actually it's Sam Lake Max Payne.
Sam Lake's Max Payne. Yeah, yeah. But
But he's the one
the
of the he's
the
basically one
other
of the
guy,
developers
the
though.
other guy. I mean, the other guy who is Alan Wake's face. And I think if you pre-order it, you can get like a cardboard cutout of Alan Wake, similar to what is in the
Like his book
cafe,
promo one.
like his book promo stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I should have played it before this, to be fair, but I've dug my heels in and I'm waiting for that. But DLC, I'll get to play the full game and a load of DLC as well. Delicious.
There you go. Good stuff. But it's not the only horror game that got announced, right? There's more. Still more.
Still more, yeah. If you're a horror gamer, this is what time to be alive. Blumhouse Games have showed off their first batch of titles. They've kind of been teasing this for a while with some um various promotion, but their first slate of games was revealed at Summer Game Fest. Um, the games span a variety of genres, each with their own distinctive and terrifying take on the world of horror. Games such as Fear the Spotlight, Crystal, Theatre of Idols, Grave Seasons, and Sleep Awake, which is like a first person horror. Another one called The Simulation, and lastly, Project C, which is apparently that's not the name. It's a game without a name, and Brandon Cronenberg, director of Possessor and Infinity Pool, is involved in some way, I guess, as the director. So stay
It looks
tuned
good.
for
Lots of
all of
stuff looks good
that.
from that whole showcase. There was not anything on that showcase that I was like, nah, mate, not interested. Not gonna play that. They
Yeah,
all looked good.
it was a good showcase, and obviously off the back of like the PlayStation 1 that we spoke about last week, uh everything's looking good.
For horror stuff.
Everything's horror stuff especially, but also other stuff as well,
And
yeah.
there's still more as well. Like there was a couple of bits. Obviously, the big one to cover is that we got an announcement of a new Doom. I think Doom's horror coded enough. Doom Dark Ages,
Yeah,
which is
like a
like
Middle
Doom.
Ages theme.
But yeah, in the olden days where you've got
So, yeah.
Army of Darkness style, a big boomstick and a
Well, that's what I
Captain
was gonna
America
say. I mean,
chainsaw
I've done,
shield.
I saw a comparison which was like Evil Dead and Doom 2016 are like the dark one. Evil Dead 2 and Doom Eternal, the silly one. And then Army of Darkness and Doom Dark Ages, the medieval one. So it's a good direction for any trilogy to take. Just can't believe it. Like amazing to think of all the fun I've had with those games. Amazing to think there's going to be a whole nother one to enjoy.
Yeah. And they would need to change very little for that just to be an absolute amazing title. There was another one
Hmm.
I took a look at, which I'm getting increasingly interested in. Have you ever a chance to look at this? Tenebris Somnia. Have you managed to take a
Oh,
look at that yet?
no, I haven't,
It is a 2D survival horror adventure with live action cutscenes. So it's like
Oh,
8-bit like adventure point and clicker.
yeah.
The cutscenes are all like FMV, like actual acted cutscenes, and it's obviously such a big
Oh,
change from
okay.
having these like drawn bits of adventure gameplay with the real life video of these actors producing it. But it is by currently not a huge amount of followers. I'm interested in looking at some of this team stuff. It's by Cybot Studios,
Hmm. Okay.
which is an Argentinian developer,
Oh.
um, founded in 2011. They look like they have some interesting games. Um, they've got like a horror related beat 'em up that almost looks like it's a like an early build, like a from the Flash animation days. That looks like it's a lot of fun, but on their featured page, there's got something that's immediately caught my attention. Like, obviously, a homage to the likes of Doom and so on, and Quake and Unreal, like a proper boomer shooter called Hellbound, a 90s FPS 30 years
Oh.
later. Um, it looks a lot of fun, and I'm really liking the look of this Tenebris Somnia as well. You can wishlist it on Steam already. I don't know what its console releases look like, but if you are, and I don't think it's going to require that much of a machine to play it, if you are
Hmm.
a PC gamer, there is a demo on Steam right now that you can download. I have downloaded it, and I'm going to have a go at it maybe before I go to bed tonight. report back
Oh
next
man.
week.
Hell yes. Sounds amazing. Report back next week. Um, okay. But that's it for horror news. What we've been
Yes.
watching. Have you seen anything in the last 7 days
Just the one
that's worth
thing,
a
Ben,
mention?
because we recorded late last week and early this, so not too much time to catch movies. But I did see a little something. I think this has been kind of one that's been building up for a while. I've been meaning to watch it since its 2010 release, so only 14 years later.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
Rubber, the story
Oh,
of a
yes.
psychically powered tire that comes to
Yeah.
life and runs amok in the California desert. Have you ever seen Rubber?
Yes, I have. I think I would have seen it around about the release because I remember looking forward to it. And I think all those years ago, it would have been a love film, like Blu-ray arrival for me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
It's a strange one, isn't it? Because I mean, it's
I
strange
was
by its
wondering where you're
very.
gonna go then.
No, it's strange, and it's. I was trying to think of writing a review for this, and had to stop and really, really take stock of what I was trying to say on this one because on paper, and when someone describes it to you, particularly as a horror fan, you're like, this is going to be a silly, over-the-top thing where there's just a killer tire going around killing people, but
With
it's
like
not
some sort of
really.
weird like telekinesis powers, right?
Yeah,
That's how it kills people. It doesn't run people over.
yeah, and that's the thing though. I think you go into this thinking it's going to be like like a hugely slapstick um fun like killer thing. It's going to be like in modern parlance, it's going to be something like with a level of humor applied to it, as we've seen in Invisible Raptor recently, or
Mm,
for older films, things like Night of the Lepus and Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. It's going to be
yeah,
something over the top like that, right? Whereas actually, it's a surreal black comedy. But the thing that's funny about it, to me anyway, watching it, the thing that's funny is not that there's a tire going and doing these murders. It's the commentary around it. Like the film opens with a sheriff asking some questions to an audience, like, why is anyone doing anything? Why is E.T. brown? There is no reason. And sometimes there is just no reason. And
what is
that's
E.T.
a
Brown?
conversation to the audience.
Well,
But then the audience is
he goes a
there.
bit pale towards the end of the film. Remember that?
Yeah, it goes a bit white, like old dog poo, but then it gets better. Um, but yeah, and then the audience is part of the film. So then the policeman that gives that speech at the beginning
Yeah.
hands some binoculars to some people, and there is you, the audience, watching, but there is a baked-in audience of people who are also characters in the film that are
Oh
watching
yeah.
this thing unfold.
Yeah.
So the comedy and the surrealism comes from the interaction between these people and the insistence of some people that it is a film when it isn't. Like, and it's a very, very strange thing. And there are
Yeah.
people that gets their heads exploded by a tire for no reason, but that's not the thrust of it. The weirdness is not in that. It's in the framing of how everything else comes together. And I'm
Mm,
glad I watched it, but I will say I will temper a recommendation with the fact that I don't think it's for everyone. I think if you go in thinking, oh, it's a bloody mad, funny killer movie, it's not that. It's something else.
yeah. It's a laugh a bloody minute, mate. Yeah, it is nuts, and I don't think I've seen it since then, but I think it was one of those. Is it kind of a bit grindhousey? Has it got that kind of
Yeah,
weird grindhousey
like that sort
vibes?
of color grading and slightly,
Yeah, like this sort of
slightly sun bleached, slightly
I guess it came out around about the same time as like Hobo with a Shotgun. I remember
yeah,
sort of watching that and then this and those films and being like, these are bloody weird, these films, but you know.
yeah.
Hmm.
That's
Uh
it for me. How about you?
yeah, so I've seen a few things. I will do it in order of watch. I watched the movie Under Paris, which is about a shark, a mako shark, swimming around in the Paris, what's the river called?
The same.
Seine. Swimming around in that, and it's kind of like it's not really a horror film. It's action in the vein of like The Meg, but maybe not as over the top and ridiculous as that. Far more grounded version of that, directed by Xavier Jeans, who directed the Hitman movie featuring Timothy Oliphant as Ancient 47, uh, which was a bit mad. Me thinking of that because this film almost feels like in a part it feels like a sort of espionage sort of film. Sometimes it feels like an action film. Um, and then like people do get torn apart by a shark. So in a way, it is kind of like a silly, deep blue sea type film. Um, it's all right, you know. It's not it's not unbelievably ridiculous, and I wasn't like absolutely on board for the duration, but some bits are good. There's some really good, cool shots. Yeah, it's got there is a bit of commentary going on about like pollution and various things like that, which is okay, but at the same time, I feel like there are films that have probably done it a little bit better. It almost like puts these people who are like, protesting against pollution or trying to protect sharks. It puts them in the line of fire, where as if to say, "See, climate change. They're all about the climate change, and that sharp ate her as well." That sort of knowing wink where you're supposed to go, "Yeah, it's all bullshit, it."
We're all
Which
bad, aren't we? Yeah.
I don't know if that's the greatest story, the greatest sort of thing to take away from it. Uh, so
That's
yeah,
on
that's on net.
Netflix, right?
It's on Netflix currently, yeah. So you can go and watch that now if you've got a Netflix subscription. I also watched a movie I've been waiting to watch for ages, just never got around to it. Don't know why. It's been out since 1988. Ken Russell's The Lair of the White Worm,
Oh, I had that
starring.
on the list to eventually watch that for an episode. Would
We
you
definitely should.
revisit it? Is it interesting enough?
Hell yes, I definitely will. It obviously we watched a Ken Russell film, Gothic, for the podcast a little while ago. Very similar to that, sort of like quaint twee English Peak District settings, some incredibly posh accents. Amanda Donoghue was Lady Sylvia Marsh. Wow. Not only posh, but Jesus Christ, you can't look away when she's on screen. Hugh Grant knocking it up, knocking about as Lord James
Spoilers. He's off.
Lord James D'Ampton. Peter Capaldi's in it as Angus Flint, the most Scottish
The
sounding name
Scottish
ever.
name you can
Not just
find.
that, he spends a good portion of the film in a kilt, and he even gets a scene where he plays the bagpipes. It's a
There you go.
weird, it's a very, very weird sort of like I want to say like folk horror. There are some weird like trippy visuals in there where people have like sort of hallucinations, and someone described it as in and you might be able to picture something here. Encarta on acid. You know, like the Encarta CD-ROM stuff. Whoa, all that shit.
I find it deeply upsetting that
And it so
that
is like that.
description made perfect sense to me.
It made perfect sense to you, yeah.
Um,
Um, but yeah, it's kind of like I don't want to spoil much, but I guess it's kind of a vampire film. It's based on a Bram Stoker uh story. Work. I don't know if it's a
is
novel
the
or just a
is the
story. I
white
don't
worm?
know.
Is it related to the Lambton worm at some point as well? Like that
Maybe.
legend
Don't
from
know.
the north of
It's not
England?
really a worm. It's kind of like, oh my God, there's so much phallic imagery, not just from the worm, but there's like a weird strap on at one point. There's some sort of like, wow, it's hard to say. There's a lot of phallic imagery,
The only things I know
a
about
lot of
Lair of
women
the White
with
Worm.
penis imagery. Do you know what I mean? Like
Okay,
the
Xenomorph style.
genders taking back their the power of the penis in a way. I don't know.
The
I'm
only
probably
thing I've
describing it
seen,
all.
I've seen as a kid growing up. I remember seeing and finding it in equal parts fascinating and terrifying. Um, they get horrible eyes and big long vampire teeth, big long
Yeah.
spiky teeth in a couple of clips, and then
Yeah.
a clip where the lady, the lady of the manor, drowns a boy scout in a bath.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird. Drowns a Boy Scout in a bath, in order to, I mean, he's obviously just a victim, but leading up to that, it feels like she's probably gonna, you know, cop off with him. And I'm like, is he of age? It's very weird. There's a weird,
So you get
like,
an uncomfortable. Oh, thank goodness she's just drowned him.
she's just
Phew.
drowning him. It's fine. It's
It's
absolutely
all right,
fine.
everybody.
There's a weird
Stand
scene which
down.
I feel like is a dream sequence where Hugh Grant is seeing some of the main characters, some of the female main characters fighting while dressed as air hostesses, and he has got a pen in his hand when it's a close up of it and him like raising it as if to say, "I've got an erection."
Uh, I tell you what, Ben, and we're going to challenge your skills as an actor now. Are you ready? Can
Okay.
you give me your best impression of what Hugh Grant might say if he saw in real life two women dressed as air hostesses having a fight?
It's weird because in this film he's like young, so he doesn't seem as Hugh Grant, but he'd be like, "Well, I've got it's absolutely appalling. I can't believe it. God,
Stuttering over some
it's
words.
two women fighting all
I mean,
dressed as air hostesses. I've just come in my pants." Is what he'd say. But yeah,
just
he's
take a clean clip of that one and put it on the.
I've I would recommend it because it is a bit of a comedy. Like it feels like it's got the same vibes as Gothic, but maybe doesn't take itself quite as seriously. There's loads of silly stuff. There's plenty of occasions where I would go, "What the actual fuck?" Which most of the time I enjoy in a film. Um,
Let's get our
so yeah,
resident expert, Ken Russell expert. We'll get Helen back on and we'll do the Lair of the White Worm.
yeah, I recommend it definitely. I've put that. I've put Altered States, the movie with William Hurt that he directed. I've put that on the list as well. And The Devils with old Oliver Reed in as well. So get them both on the list. And the only other thing I've seen is after our conversation with Ash last week, after she went to the premiere of The Watched. In the UK, it's The Watched. In the US, it's The Watchers. The new movie from the daughter of M. Night Shyamalan. I hate to lead with that because, it sounds like I'm just saying
Right, we'll use this
nepotism.
as an opportunity to commit her
Ish,
name to memory once and for all. Ready? Three, two, one, go.
Ishana Night Shyamalan.
Ashana. Ashana, Ashana,
Yeah.
Ashana. I
It
Shana
is.
get her name wrong again, Ben.
I shan't get her name wrong again. It's based on something, this, apparently. It's based on a book. I think
Yeah,
it's
it's she
based
adapted
on.
the screenplay herself, right?
Yeah, that's got to be right, isn't it? So, original writer A.M. Shine. I recognize that name, A.M. Shine. What else has A.M. Shine written? Anyway,
That's
this
what you see when
film,
you open your windows in the morning, isn't it? The AM shine.
it's the bloody A.M. Shine straight in my eyeballs. Um, this film, like Knock at the Cabin, had this weird sort of vibe where it was like everything's a bit weird and mysterious, isn't it? And we know the answers, but we're going to tell you the answers eventually. Just be patient, just be patient. And when it tells you the answers, it goes, those answers you wanted, yeah, we haven't really got them, but magic, weird stuff.
It's
It
like
was
the
a bit like
karate
that.
teacher that's just one lesson ahead of you in
Oh, it was
karate.
a bit like that. It was kind of frustrating. D d so it's mysterious. It's engrossing to a degree until it goes. All that exposition you like? Well, not really. Is a whole truckload of it fired at you. Like, oh,
Evidence
come
room
on.
right at the end.
I said this when we were talking about this film last night, me and Charlie, after we watched it, I said it's the bloody Resident Evil Village evidence room in cinematic form. But instead of that, they had a character, and this character was Basil Exposition. And this person was just, oh my God. Like they do this thing where establish the rules of this world. Don't ever do this. And someone goes, yeah, all right. Honestly, 2 minutes later, the person who said don't do that is doing it. And I'm like, wait a second.
Still, I say not
Um,
do what I do. All right, come on.
it's impossible to deny that it's obviously well directed, it's well shot, it looks lovely. Um, I kind of just felt that, and I felt a bit like this. So I don't hate Knock at the Cabin, but I didn't really enjoy the book upon it which it was based, The Cabin at the End of the World by it's not Paul Tremblay, is it? Who wrote that? Who wrote that? So
Isn't it, Paul Tremblay? I was about my brain is desperately trying to get it wrong and say Grady Hendrix, even though it isn't the answer, Andy. Come on, fucking
no, it's
say
not
it. No,
Grady.
it's
It's
not.
definitely not old
It's.
Hendrix.
I think it is Paul
I
Tremblay, isn't it?
possibly I didn't really enjoy that because, and I got the same feeling when I was watching this, where like I like a good mystery, and I like being led down a dark and winding path by the hands of a writer or filmmaker, but a bit like how everybody felt when Lost finished. When you feel like they didn't have a plan for this the whole time. They've led me down this path and now they've just given me any old answer. Oh yeah. It felt a bit like that. And again, maybe I've misinterpreted it, but I will say, obviously for a debut film, great. But
But the story
I
didn't quite land it for you.
the story didn't quite land it for me. But it definitely feels now whether Ashana Night Shyamalan is going for I'm just going to make films that are similar to the style that my dad made famous, which is twisties, but also like some weird sort of otherworldly way that people speak. And I've always thought that with M Night Shyamalan films, like everybody kind of talks as if they know something that you don't, and they need to tell you it right away. Everyone kind of speaks like that, constantly just going through the motions of telling you what's happening.
Every piece of dialogue conveys a point. There is very little small talk in an M. Night
Yeah,
Shyamalan film.
yeah. It feels a bit like if you ever read the Walking Dead comics. Like I know that Robert Kirkman is, but it feels like every character talks. It is like a stream of consciousness rather than like actual dialogue that people say. It's like everybody's saying, "This is what's happening. This is how I feel. This is what this means." You know what I mean? And I feel like it just doesn't sit right with me. If, in a way, like some of the themes that the Watchers were trying to deliver, this film hits the mark on that, but I don't think it meant to. Does that make sense?
Okay. But you can be
Like,
the Watchers at your local cinemas right now, right? That's I need to go and see
yeah,
it.
the Watchers slash the Watched. I don't know why they've called it the Watched in the UK. It's Welcome to the Jungle slash the Rundown situation all over again.
Yeah.
Um, but there we go.
It's Avengers Assembled yet again.
It's Avengers assembled. Steed and what's her name? Joanna
I'm a
Lumley.
pale.
Emma Peel. Yeah, that's it. I've probably said too much. I'll shut up now. Just like that film should have done. Uh, uh, what we got?
Film of the
Film of the
week, isn't
week.
it?
Film of the week, which is Anaconda, and that is now I'm speaking like an M Night Shyamalan character. Anaconda is a 1997 American adventure horror film directed by Luis Llosa and starring Jennifer Lopez, Ice Cube, Jon Voight, Eric Stoltz, Jonathan Hyde, and Owen Wilson. It focuses on a documentary film crew in the Amazon rainforest that is led by a snake hunter who is hunting down a giant, legendary green anaconda. I will say this crew ain't led by the snake hunter, and it ain't even clear that this guy's a snake hunter to start with. That's giving a lot away in that little sentence. You should have said, documentary film crew, meet a man stranded on his boat, and this man's very snake-like as well, isn't he? Have
Yeah.
they done it on purpose?
Yeah.
They,
If a snake grew legs, it would be Jon Voight's character in this,
it would be
whose
Jon
name,
Voight.
classic. I mean, to be fair, I don't know anyone from Ecuador. Maybe they're all called Paul, but I don't think they are.
Paul Cerrone. Yeah, so he's delivering a again, I don't know anyone from Ecuador. I remember in the World Cup they had the goalkeeper who took the free kicks and the penalties.
Is his name Paul?
No. It was like I'll find out in a minute. But um God, it was a long time ago. It was like the 90s. But yeah, Paul Cerrone, who is like a weird, I don't know why we're talking about him off the get-go. He's a weird sort of like sneering, greasy, pervy. He's always like he's Tony Montana. He sounds like Tony Montana.
That was a good voice.
Slash.
So the sort of the
Yeah.
Godfather who was like, "You
He's
come to me on the
always
day."
like, hey, baby bird. Oh, it's getting worse now. Now I'm doing just a New York accent. Hey, baby bird. I don't know. He calls someone baby bird. He's always looking at any of the female characters who are at any point cooling themselves down or just like sitting, existing, basically.
Yeah,
Anytime any of the female characters are existing, they'll look and they'll be there, like, kind of like eyes half open, looking
yeah,
at them as if to say, oh, yeah, all right, okay,
yeah.
I got it.
In a very leery way, but in the same time, looking like he also wants to murder you all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What a
I
bastard.
mean, to be
But
fair, those ladies are probably feeling even more uncomfortable that creepy old Paul is staring at them all because unfortunately, none of them appear to have brought a bra to this jungle.
was that was that was that their decision, or do you think the director at some point has gone,
I
hang
mean,
on a minute?
a star-studded cast, maybe wardrobe are like, look, I can get Luke Wilson, but I really want Owen Wilson. And they're like, oh, he's more expensive though, isn't he? Is there anything we can cut out? I said, well, Jennifer Lopez's bras are gonna what makes the difference. That's exactly the amount we need.
Can we not just got get her to bring her own bras from home?
No,
Nah, she's dead
unfortunately,
against that.
that's not insurable. Actually, the oddly enough, the insurance won't cover it if you're not
Was
wearing anything from. We have to credit her as costume designer if she brings her own bra. We can't have that.
was a lack of a bra just a 1997 thing? My only point of reference being Charlie Dimmock and Ground Force.
Do you reckon that there's any shared producers between those two productions? Um,
Maybe. You never
yeah,
know. I was trying to think. So there's another. So Kari Woorer, who is I didn't mention just now. Sorry for butchering your name. Denise Karlberg. She is Owen Wilson's squeeze. Again, I hate to. Why am I just
Baby
linking people
Bird.
to the men in this thing? Baby Bird. I was like, where do I recognize her from? She's the sheriff in Eight-Legged Freaks.
Is she?
Yes. And I was thinking, I was bloody looking in my brain for that, looking in my mind palace for anything similar. Couldn't find it, but yeah, she's the sheriff in that. Jonathan Hyde is in this, and yeah, he was loving it in the late 90s when he was in obviously The Mummy, Titanic, Jumanji. He was absolutely killing it as like
Yeah,
the posh,
as a
how would
bad
you say,
Englishman.
very bad Englishman. But I think he gets a bit of a comeuppance in this film. Richie Rich as well. He's a nice man in Richie Rich. Herbert Arthur Runcible Cadbury. He's the he's the
Runcible.
Runcible. Hey, hello. It's Cadbury. He's Richie Rich's butler. Why are butlers posh, Andy?
They live in posh houses. It's all they hear.
Is that the reason? Because by their very nature, they are just the help. Sorry. Sorry to be rude.
But they're the king of the health, aren't they?
Yeah,
The
but why are
butler
they
is like
so
the head
posh?
servant.
Why are they so posh? Sure, do they live in the house or do they just go back to their two-bedroom flat?
I think they live in the house. So they sort of live in a big posh house, don't they?
I don't trust them. That's a thing. See, that's a thing. I've always grown up and I've always thought, oh yeah, the butler, posh, rich. But when you think about it, he's probably just on a modest wage, living in the house. What's he doing his downtime? And also, someone called Herbert Arthur Runcible Cadbury is a man of wealth, is a man from a
Yeah.
lineage, right?
Yeah. They got the Cadbury millions.
They got the Cadbury bloody millions. He's got fruit and nut money.
Yeah.
Um,
That sexy caramel bunny brings him his breakfast every morning when he goes home.
oh, wow. That sounds nice. Um, but yeah, Jennifer Lopez as Terry Flores, Ice Cube as Danny Rich, Eric Stoltz, who I just recognize as that ginger fella who's in a few things. You always get mixed up with the other one. There's another ginger fella who's in like Band of Brothers. Who's that guy? You know what they
Simon
say?
Penn. Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg. No, no, no. Anyway, but he suffered. Now, I was going to ask you about this. He suffers from the curse of being written out of a film by injury. Now, can you think of anyone else in a film who's been written out by injury? I've got a good example.
Go on, go for yours.
Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park.
Yep.
Arguably one of the biggest names in that film, off the back of his career in the 80s.
Oh, you bust your
He's
leg, mate.
bigger than Sam Neill, bigger than Laura Dern, sorry. He hurts himself and just ends up lying on a table, guiding somebody through the bloody to switch the power back on. And I'm sure he's topless and sexy, we get that, but he's been written out by an injury, and that's frustrating, isn't it? Like, man, if you're Eric Stoltz, you're like, I've got my big break. Here we go. I'm gonna be an
Doesn't even get any
anaconda.
lines because he gets wasped in the throat and can't talk.
Gets bloody wasped in the throat. Can't talk. Gets stabbed in the neck, and yeah, it's a
Who's the
terrible.
actor that plays their boatman slash Gambit?
Mateo Vincent Castellanos.
I mean,
Mateo. I
obviously
feel like the
Gambit
name
famously Cajun, but this guy looks exactly like him. He's like
Mateo. I feel like the amount of times
Spanish Gambit.
I hear the name Mateo in this film. People say it like it's going out of fashion. Mateo, Mateo, this, Mateo, get a boat running. Mateo, go and have a look over there. Mateo, help me with this. Leave Mateo out. But then, of course, we find out he's in on it, isn't he? He's in on the old.
So serves him right. I guess he deserves to get eaten by a snake. Spoilers. The thing that got me with Mateo's character, and we cover it like it's not an important factor to the story. Obviously, he is like a local guide and the captain of the boat they're going to travel on. Of all the characters to walk up and say in like English person abroad, really loud and clear English, "Do you understand me?" So this man then answers it, Jennifer Lopez.
Does Jennifer Lopez do
Yeah,
that?
Jennifer Lopez goes, "Do you understand? Hey, Mateo, do you understand me?" So we need to have that contrivance to make sure that um
Wait a
that
minute. Jennifer
this
Lopez.
is why all these actors are going to speak English to each other, rather than just let's assume Jennifer Lopez of all people can speak Spanish, shall
Now
we?
I know she's Jenny from the Bronx, but we're saying what? Middle America uh roots, right? Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, she is like Latinx heritage, right? So I'd
I think it's
assume
I think her parents Puerto Rico. Sorry to do that. I don't know. The thing is, I apologize in advance for the accents because Jon Voight is knocking out a bad accent in this, and
so. You've
it's
been ruined by it.
I've been ruined by it, and it will, and I'll get addicted to it. I'll get addicted to doing it, and I'll get addicted to doing accents now. So it's not
You've been
something that's
calling your partner and dog like Mateo all afternoon. Mateo.
Mateo, Mateo, hey Mateo, hey Mateo, help me out with this shit. He's definitely not from New York. He's definitely not from New York, but he is a bit like that. Also, what I like about um the character played by Jon Voight, he's in a lovely salmon t-shirt, which kind of
Yeah.
softens him a little bit, makes him look a little bit less
Lovely,
terrifying.
lovely salmon t-shirt and a lovely like dad ponytail.
The just an unbelievable grimace on his face at all times, like merely being in his own body is painful. Everything. A bit like what's
A
he
bit
called
like
from
when
Men in
Vincent
Black?
D'Onofrio's in Men in Black and he's actually a big
Yeah,
cockroach in a
that's
human
exactly what I
skin.
was thinking. He is
He's
100% a cockroach in human skin.
he's walking around, sugar,
What's the first thing
water,
I'm gonna do?
or
What's the first thing I'm gonna do? Go and catch the anaconda. Oh, again, don't clip that because that will look like something incredibly wrong.
deeply offensive. You're in charge of the screenshots, Ben. You're all right.
I am
Um,
exactly. But there is something like proper iconic about this film. It's the cast. It's like it's a combination of the puppetry, which is puppetry's good. CGI is bad, but I think it is of its time. 1997 CGI kind of it all looked like this, really, didn't it? And I think at the time, watching this film in 1997, I was 100. I remember being scared of this film, like just being
yeah.
scared of the murky depths of water, and just like thinking, what could be down there?
It's,
Horrible.
I mean, worry about the water, about the wasps in your respirator, or blowing up a big old box of snakes that scatter everywhere.
Oh Jesus, yeah, wasp in your respirator, or as you did mention as well to me off pod, the old urethra,
Oh,
horrible
the
fish that swims
the
up your
the
pee.
classic mention of any time I feel from like 1990 onwards, whenever you're doing any film about the jungle, someone is gonna have to be warned about. Here, don't piss in that water. Piss fish will
Don't
get you.
piss.
Yeah, and then
I feel like
someone will go, "What's the
in
piss fish?" And they go, "Swims up your piss and
goes in,
gets in the willy, and then it spikes
the
out
barbs come out,
like an
and you never
umbrella.
get it out.
It's like Batman's fired a grappling hook right up you, mate. So just don't be careful. I mean, do be
What's
careful.
happened?
I
You
was
see
giving
him.
people the wrong advice then.
If you saw someone in the water, and then they looked initially like happy, they were relieving themselves, like, and then suddenly agony. You're like piss fish. He's been
Yeah.
piss fished.
So basically,
There was
everyone, the advice Horror Hangout gives you is if you do have to have a piss in the jungle, break the stream, like
yeah,
spray everywhere, sprinkler
yeah.
it.
I feel like
Don't have a continuous stream.
the 90s are responsible for a lot of fears in us. Now we've obviously already mentioned quicksand on this show. Quicksand, rabies,
Piss
piss
fish.
fish. Anything else I'm missing there? Something that everyone that we're just constantly terrified of happening. even though if you told me now, go and find some quicksand, and you gave me like unlimited resources, I wouldn't even know where to start. Where would you start?
Morecambe Bay, all that quicksand's there.
Is there?
Yeah, those people died in it.
Oh, oh
Like winkle
dear.
pickers. They're the trousers or the shoes, but like people getting like shellfish there. They got
Oh no,
sunk in the
yeah.
quicksand.
No, I do remember that. Yeah.
There's
Okay. Well, there we
quicksand right
go.
there.
I've been given unlimited resources. I'm going straight to where? Morecambe.
I think it's Morecambe.
Morecambe. The old winkle pickers. Rest in
And
peace.
I don't know
Um,
why you'd want to go to quicksand, but yeah, there is
but that's what I
definitely.
mean. Like, it feels like it's more prevalent than it is. I feel like there's quicksand at the end of every street. I always had a sign. How's that sign stuck in it?
Careful,
How's that
quicksand.
sign? How's the sign stuck in it? Who's done that?
You
You
know,
got no answers for
quicksand,
me.
quicksand at Bear Grylls, I guess. But I saw a
So
film. I
this,
think it is called Quicksand quite
oh
recently. It was like on Shudder or maybe
yeah, I
Tubi.
think you might be
Uh,
right. I've
it's
got a
about
question
people
for
hiding
you.
from drug dealers and they hide and they get stuck in the quicksand.
They hide in the quicksand. Where should we hide? Should we just hide in this quicksand? Should we just hide just in this definite death? Who plays the Anaconda in this film? Andy, do you know that?
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Incorrect.
Um, who's the guy that played
Think.
Jason forever?
Jeez. I'm from looking at this guy's name, I'm assuming
So
uh
not Kane Hodder.
it's it's noise. It's the noise of the snake. He's not like in the suit.
Ah, okay. Oh, incidental noises. Frank Welker.
Absolutely correct.
Yes, fucking the man that's done every noise in everything. If you
Yeah,
ever play in the IMDb game where you've got to get from one actor to another, Frank Welker is a safe bet to
Frank
get you
Welker will
from
get you there.
anyone to anyone because he's
That
everything.
was, dude. I'm impressed. Well done. See, usually something like that, I'd be going Frank Welker number one, or Mike Patton number two, singer of Faith No More, because he's
Yeah,
always doing weird noises like the
always the
bloody
darkness.
Transformers and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Frank Welker's
Um,
Megatron's original voice, right?
don't know. Sounds correct.
And I know he's
But yeah,
Abu in
well done.
Aladdin.
You nailed it. You nailed it. Okay, so this film, I brought this up again before on the podcast. I can't even remember if you know this. Front row on like cable, on like UK cable, there was a thing called front row, and it's basically like you order a film in order to watch it.
Yeah,
Pay for it once, it gets added to your bill, then you can watch the movie. And I think every time the movie started, it would always show the opening like I want to say 5 minutes before it like flickered and then went off.
yeah,
So I remember seeing this opening sequence to this film with Danny Trejo and POV of the Anaconda loads of times. Um, so like the boat getting smashed upwards and a nail like in slow mo appearing right in front of Danny Trejo's
yeah.
face. That yeah, and I think for ages I'd seen it and I was like, oh, I really want to watch this film. I really want to watch this film. And yeah, when I did watch it, and I think it was a film I watched with my parents, I guess. I do remember being actually scared and being like, oh, I don't like it.
Watch out for anacondas; they'll get you.
Watch out for anacondas, they'll bloody get you. Um, so yeah, how does it begin? So it's that sequence on the Amazon River.
Before we even get that, Ben, we get some lovely, I think, classic Chekhov's
Peruvian panpipes.
exposition with
Oh yeah,
oh,
yeah, the
before
turtle
we get
crawl.
the Congo panpipes, we get the little thing saying, "Did you know that in nature anacondas are fucking massive and they're the only animals that are not satisfied with just killing their prey once. They sick them out so they can kill them again." And I was like, there's probably a more science if that's a true thing. I feel like there's probably a more science reason that they do that
Yeah,
rather
they
than
need to
just
kill it and digest it a bit and then sick it out because you can't eat it all in one go because it'll kill you. It's not
yeah.
like they enjoy it. They go, oh, I love that. That bit of rice pudding was delicious. I'm gonna have it all over again.
So
Disgusting.
you had a really good dinner and you go, oh, I could eat that. I could eat that again.
Oh, Jesus. Smoothie. I could eat it again in smoothie form.
Yeah. So
Uh, yeah, so
Chekhov's
it's a lovely
biological
turtle
facts.
crawl. But it's a great sort of opening. So it's weird, isn't it? Because the opening music is kind of like Peruvian panpipes. slash some sort of percussion. It's not very. It's not like scary music. It's got some good like scary soundtrack stings and things, isn't it? There's
This
loads
is
of
a
really good
classic
bits.
jungle bit of jungle music, and I don't mean like the jungle that's massive. I mean like the
Yeah.
oh, you're going into the jungle now.
But even the like fine the sort of last the music over the end credits as well is kind of like almost family friendly. It's weird. It's a weird one, but it's still a good soundtrack. Um and yeah, on this opening sequence, there's a poacher hiding from something in the river. It's like skulking around. We get a POV of it lots. And it like smashes through the bottom of the boat, and it's Danny Trejo.
Johnny
And we're talking
Danny
about the.
Trejo's like, no, I'm not having this. Copping out.
Are we saying Trejo or Trejo? Trejo.
I'd say Trejo, but I don't know how is the correct way to say it. I could just be
I'm
being
not
very
sure either.
confidently wrong.
I'll just do the other. I'll just do the other one, so at least one of us
One of
is
us is right.
correct.
So at just one of us, please.
And he climbs to the top of the boat, climbs up on the mast or something like that,
Yeah, climb on the
and
mast. He's like the captain going down with the sinking ship, and is like,
as the snake is like obviously what I like about this is you can picture what's actually happening, can't you? Like I can imagine that this CGI snake is coiling its way around the mast, getting closer and closer to him, and in the end he goes, you know what? I actually would rather shoot myself in the head than be devoured. And I am fully on board with this when you see a particular shot later in this film of like the POV of getting eaten by this thing. I've always kind of been fascinated and confused by the actual science of how big snakes can do this. I know they dislocate their jaw in order to get things in there, but is it just stomach acids and stuff when you're inside that start breaking you down?
yeah, I guess just get eaten like anything else. Just get like digested up. Takes you ages. Like in real life, Ben, if this was a film of science, I imagine they'd be full up from eating a person, let alone loads.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing. Don't they like eat something and then they're just completely out of it? Like they're almost susceptible to being attacked by predators themselves because they're
Yeah,
there
I
all
mean,
big and fat and
yeah,
digesting.
your normal snake, if you're like a snake keeper, you feed him a big mouse like once every 6 months, don't you?
Jesus. You know when you've had a big dinner and then you go back to sit at your desk or go back to work or something, and you're like, "Oh, play flagging here."
Yeah, that'd be the
Imagine that.
anacondas.
That'd be the anaconda. There's a picture. I don't think it's an actual photo. Actually, I think it's a recreation. It's in some sort of museum. A picture of like a model, I guess it is, of a anaconda eating a capybara. If you give that a Google, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
A big old fat capybara. Lovely. So yeah, this guy
get that
commits
down here.
suicide. He's like, I'd rather die than be squeezed to death. And then, I mean, in real life, anacondas are nowhere near as big as this, are they?
Yeah. I don't think they move quite as rapidly as the CGI version of the anaconda does.
Oh my
Because
God.
puppet anaconda,
Yeah.
it's big, it's scary, it moves at a far more normal speed. CGI anaconda is like
Yeah.
liquid smoke. He's
If you
all over
s-
the place.
if you saw exactly if it was coming at you and it was in puppet form, you'd probably be all right. Um, but if you saw it suddenly turn into CGI snake, you'd be done for. The
Moves like the
puppet
genie from
version,
Aladdin. He's like, like
its head, yeah, it does move like a genie from Aladdin. Its head, the puppet version, its face is very frowny, isn't it?
yeah,
It's a
and
very
slightly
angry,
boss-eyed.
judgmental. And I'm assuming the reason for that is because they kill not its babies, but its fellow brethren, right?
Yeah. I know you're reaching for something behind you, Ben, but because there is a background on your thing, it looks like you're looking back to look at the anaconda to
Isn't
describe
that
it.
right, Anaconda? Don't you agree with me? Yeah, I do actually. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know
So
if it's for revenge or if it's just because they've gone into that area that's walled off. So like anacondas live in here, don't.
yeah,
But
yeah, that makes more sense. Like, don't come through this way. The Anaconda bloody get you. So basically, it's a film crew shooting a documentary about the Shirashamas, who are a long lost indigenous
people of
Amazonian
the
tribe.
mist.
People in the mist, yeah. And the crew includes director Terry Flores, cameraman and childhood friend Danny Rich,
He's got
who
two
is.
jobs. He's both a cameraman and a childhood friend. I quite
Excuse me.
I quite like this though, because for all of the other stuff which was endemic of, like 90s, and let's face it, long time afterwards, things, everyone would have to fancy the main the main lead of the opposite sex. Everyone would be like, oh, Jennifer Lopez, the sexiest of all. But actually, they're just friends. And he's like, oh, nice to see you, dickhead, and gives her a hug and,
Yeah.
winds up. Like, it's nice to just actually see between
She's not gonna.
the two like named actors that are in it, like in the order of casting and the order of appearance.
Yeah.
The cast list goes Jennifer Lopez, Ice Cube from Triple X, the
Yeah.
next level. Like they both get name checked first, and it isn't driven as like and they also have a romantic relationship. They're just mates.
They're just pals, aren't they? Yeah, exactly. And we're not. Yeah. Because Jennifer Lopez, she's got a love interest. And if you'd have shown me a cast list, right, and gone, who's Jennifer Lopez's love interest in this? I might have gone for Jonathan Hyde before I went for old Eric Stoltz. No
Yeah,
offense to Eric Stoltz being ginger. If everybody knows, my partner's ginger, all right? So I'm doing that. Don't judge me, all right? Well, my partner's ginger, okay?
you're J Lo in this situation
I'm J-Lo in this situation, all right? And I'm taking one for the team. I'm joking, I'm
with
joking.
with
I'm
Eric
joking.
Stoltz.
Eric Stoltz. But I don't know, it's weird, isn't it? Like their like chemistry felt a bit like I get it, but it feels a bit it's weird, it's a bit off.
Feels like all those
So
relationships in Love Actually, where it's like someone having an affair with a younger employee.
yeah,
Um,
like Alan Rickman and wait, no. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I would have maybe assumed, and maybe this is because of the way their stars both rose from this point. My assumption would have been that it would have been Jennifer Lopez, Owen Wilson.
yeah, but I guess he's just like a lesser it's a
Yeah,
lesser role for him, more
he's
of a
Gary the
supporting role,
Soundman.
isn't it? I'll tell you, you should have got involved. Mateo. Hey,
Gambit
Mateo.
himself.
Hey, Mateo. Hey, come and help me with this shark. No, Snake. So, see, I can't. I concentrate too much on the accent and not on the details. Um, so then we got production manager Denise, who is um going out with sound engineer Gary Dixon. All right, big Gary Dixon. He's a sound engineer because he invented Dixon's. Did you know that?
D, all the electronic equipment.
Narrator Warren Westridge. I was kind of thinking for a while, like, who's the on screen person here? But as soon as he turns up with all of his suitcases and stuff, and he starts demanding that someone
David
comes
Attenborough
and
style. Not that David Attenborough does that.
could somebody just come and help me with my belongings? Cadbury, Mr. Cadbury, Warren Westridge. And I said he starts off as being like a right douche, but I don't know. He does something about him comes good when you realize he can play drive this guy
You can drive the boat. You can beat shit out of Jon Voight with a golf club,
asshole in one. He's
punching a
smoking
few darts.
he is punching a few dice, smoking a few tabs. Then we've got anthropologist Professor Stephen Kale. There's a bit of dick swinging going on between him and the snake hunter Paul Cerrone, because they're both like, I know the most about the Shiroshamas. Well, I'll tell you what, I know even more about the Shiroshamas. Ain't that something else? Shut up! I'm gonna ruin your shot by getting in and going, I'm right. I'm bloody right, you bloody mugs.
We
Um,
waits till the cameras are rolling to go and correct them.
yeah. I mean, there's some serious dick swinging going on. Mateo is unfortunately like he's not much of a character. He's just there, isn't he? He's just like the guy who's
Drive the boat and
there
to
to
drive the body
appease,
count.
drive the boat, drive the body count. And I was thinking at one point, like the more and more people learn how to use the boat, I just kept thinking, oh, don't show someone how to use the boat because that marks you immediately for death. Because of plot, the boat needs to go. We need the boat
Someone
to
needs to
go somewhere.
drive.
So don't show someone else how to use it. Because if you're just the only one who can drive it, you are indispensable, you know?
No one else knows this. We're fine. I mean, how do we
Yeah.
get onto it? So we've got to the river pretty quickly, but like basically it's because they're off to shoot this documentary, and we're established before we've got on board that there is something between Jennifer Lopez, you in the metaphor, and Eric Stoltz, the professor, Charlie.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something going on. And it's like they haven't seen each other for a while. Like obviously he's been off doing Dr. Stephen Kale things, and she's been directing documentaries. And I think she says a few times that this is supposed to be a big break. Bit of an assumption, isn't it? To just assume that this documentary people are going to want to watch it. What's it about? Shiroshamas? I don't know. Oh, there's a film on about a giant killer snake. I'm gonna watch that instead. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm off. Um, yeah, I think the initial stuff is like establishing the relationships, and there's a few things where people are chilling, listening to music, um,
Oh, they have a
playing
bit of a row,
golf.
don't they? Because yeah, being the typical English traveller, old Nick Thornberry himself is like banging out a few golf balls. He's dead shit at it, even though he's standing literally 2 feet away from the net. He keeps chipping him over the top, and it's because Ice Cube is playing his bloody rap music,
Can you
too
turn
loud
that
in the jungle.
blithering racket down, please? Impacting my par.
Yeah,
Something like that.
and he's not having it. They don't get on very well. Also, I
Don't,
mean,
he says, don't touch my radio, you mug.
both of you actually, if you think about it, do you reckon the lovely jungle wants to hear any music blaring off a boat like you're on a booze
That's
cruise
true.
down
There
the
is one
down
point
the
where
River Severn?
Jennifer Lopez says that she's against blowing up this like dam slash river wall with dynamite because she's like, no, the natural order of things, Mother Nature's going to be angry, but she's fine with Ice Cube blaring his music, uh, and what's his
What's
flavor?
his chops
Warren Westridge, wazzing
belting
balls.
golf balls into the river?
There's going to be like a panther just walking along, just getting twatted in the head. Well,
Big like
like
bump on his head like Tom and Jerry, just coming
that's
out
why
the jungle.
that's why he followed him all angry. The old panther. It was a panther, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. So there's a bit of not a storm, but it's raining. Is that right?
Yeah, it's raining
Uh,
as it
it's
is
raining.
once do in the rainforest.
Yeah, exactly. And then they find uh Paraguayan snake hunter Paul Cerrone. His
What's he
boat's
doing on this boat? He's just flapping a tarp around, going,
yeah,
ah.
yeah.
For
Help
such a
me!
capable man, he's just
He's
fucked.
he's got a little suitcase ready to go. That's what I liked. He had a little bag ready to go. I love that. Right, what is it with this? This always made me laugh this little bit. So he obviously says, help me," and they say, jump on our boat. It's fine. There's a really weird bit where he like leaps onto the boat, and it's a close up of his face, and he almost like goes like it like
Leaps like
focuses
a
on his face,
tiger.
and I'm like, he's obviously the bad guy. There's no way. And as I mentioned previously, he's there's like him and the actual Anaconda. They're both very snake-like. I suppose they're equal in their villainous. Like they're both a threat in
Yeah.
equal measure, aren't they? And there
Yeah.
is something really snake-like about him. He's a bit like slivery. There's lots of him. Yeah, I guess they've done that on purpose.
Yeah.
But
And bearing in mind as well that you shouldn't have these wrong from the beginning because their boat is very much on a level. He could have just jumped across onto the boat, but he dives onto Gary the Soundman,
oh yeah.
Gary Dixon.
Now this is
Um,
him immediately starting to manipulate Gary. I feel like if he immediately lands on him,
yeah.
asserts physical dominance, lands on him, he'll be able to then manipulate him in a way he sees fit. Because catching a catching an anaconda, ain't
$1 million.
$1 million, and you can't do it on your own. No, you
He's a
need a crew.
partner.
You need a partner in your thing and available. Yeah, this is how he speaks. Not
Yeah,
exactly
this
like
isn't
that.
Ben
I
doing an
know.
offensive Ecuadorian accent. This is him being Jon Voight from this film.
Paraguayan.
Paraguayan.
Paraguayan. I couldn't tell you what the Paraguayan accent sounds like. That's not because I'm ignorant in any way. It's because, I don't commit those things to memory and think I'll bring this out in a borderline offensive uh impression coming up. Oh yes, there we go. Jose Luis Chilavert, who was the goalkeeper. He played for Paraguay, and I remember if you used to watch the World Cup in like the 90s, 94, 98, you would have loved it because it was a mad thing that happened where the goalkeeper took a free kick or took a goal or took a penalty. It was fantastic. It was one of the best things to see.
Best moments in
Um,
football.
best moments in football.
Um,
Um,
so yeah, they've got him. He's on the boat, and we do see a little bit of the first kill, apart from the cold open of the Anaconda, and it's when we're
hmm.
looking at again another thing blowing the bra budget for this movie. Got a panther in, haven't they? Lovely
Oh,
panther in the jungle,
they've got a bloody
beautiful
panther in.
real life panther in the jungle doing some roars, and then honestly, go back and watch this, or if you're watching this film, a great work of and it's done by sort of playing the footage on the side, so it's at a funny angle. But that panther looks ever so surprised when the anaconda gets. He's like the
Yeah,
big
yeah.
open mouth, and the anaconda
Yeah,
gets
you
the
fuming, when you?
panther and he gets him so much that he pops his eye out. He was so
Yeah.
surprised.
Oh, horrible. Yeah, so that's establishing that the older anaconda's knocking about. He's
He's
nearby.
powerful enough to eat a panther.
Yeah, and humans less powerful
Yeah,
than a panther. One on one, anyway. At least you know. Um,
yeah.
Paul Cerrone, when he's got his bloody guns and stuff, sure, he is a match for a panther. But one on one, mano a mano, fisticuffs, I
You'd
think
be
he'd lose.
surprised like that panther wasn't done in.
Hey, come on then, panther. Fuck you up. He is basically telling everyone that he knows the river really well. Not enough to crash your boat, then, mate. You bloody mug. Um,
Yeah.
and he convinces them that he can help them find the Shirishamas. And this is where he basically says, "Here's a bit of lore about the Shirishamas." And I think Dr. Stephen Kell says, "Where'd you hear that lore? Guinness Book of Records, because that's nonsense."
Yeah. It's
And he's
like a little
gone,
rhyme.
"Listen, mate."
Beware the tale of the people of the mist. They
People
had
of the
no
mist.
children, only only anacondas.
They'll only turn up after all the film is over. Don't worry. You need their help. They know these rivers great. I bet they've got loads of different methods to
Beware,
survive
beware
against
the
the
people of the
anacondas.
mist. They'll turn up at the end, but the plot they'll miss. That's the
Plot they'll
rhyme.
miss. I
That's
turn up at the
the
end like that guy. You all right, guys? Turn up in a little boat. You all right? What's going on here then? Bloody anaconda. Pretty much all the crew are uncomfortable around Cerrone. Like some people are literally like, don't trust him as far as I can throw him. He's a wrong un. Let's get rid of him because he's almost like, drop me off at the next village. I know the people. And then why
oh, they'll
doesn't he
help
get
me.
off? Or just
No.
go a different way?
Well,
Maybe just go a different
he
way.
manages to circumvent the way they're going, doesn't he? So at first he says, "Let me off at the next village. I know the people." But
Drop me off at the next village, baby bird. I know the people. I'm gonna call you baby bird. Jennifer Lopez at some point is like cooling off. She's got some cool water on the back of her neck, and he is literally just glaring, but not in a like in the most menacing manner. Like I feel like, of course, I'm not a woman, and I haven't experienced the glaring eyes of a man. I'm sure it can be off-putting, and most of the time you probably don't want to say anything because men like that are knobheads. But you would have to say, "What the fuck is wrong with you?
because
What are you
this isn't
looking
a
at?"
glare. This is some grade A leering that Paul's doing.
I tell you what, you should be in my head right now. The crazy things. I'm a horror. Like, yeah. But she does use it against him a little bit later, doesn't she? Like, she realizes that he's a dirty old perv, and she's like, I'm gonna try and bring his guard down by trying to make out that I'm a little bit
Yeah,
interested in him.
he's done.
And he's gonna
Arrogant
fall
enough to
for
go,
it.
fucking hell. Jennifer
He's gonna
Lopez
go,
fancies
you know what I
me.
am? And
Creepy old
I'm
man.
even gonna get a kiss out of it, even after the gig's up.
Yeah,
Naughty
that's
boy.
him. Um, he's not the only
The-
one that's being super horny in the jungle though, because meanwhile,
oh yeah,
Gary
Jesus.
is saying, "Tell you what, it's just me. Well, the only thing you thinking since you've been in the jungle is
Bumping uglies.
bloody bloody bonking, Ben."
He says, I can't think about anything else. So, like, Gary, focus on your job, sound engineer. He's walking around getting all the atmospheric noise to add into the edit. But he's doing ridiculous things. He's hanging a sound engineer thing off his knob. No, he's not doing that. He's literally going, I'm absolutely raging over it. And I think initially, his partner Denise is like, give it a rest, mate. I'm working. But a little bit later, they
As
get a
soon as she
chance.
goes into the dangerous jungle, she says,
As soon as he's
"Hey,
in
Gary,
the dangerous Amazonian jungle, which I feel like personally, that even if I had 3 layers of clothes on, I'd feel like something was going to get in there and sting me or bite me or do something.
yeah,
Let alone am I getting naked and then aroused in that
yeah."
situation.
I've
Very
only been to the
dangerous.
jungle a couple of times, Ben, and I'm not ashamed to say the one thing I was thinking wasn't when I was there. It's like bloody hell, could use a shag right now. What I was thinking was in the jungle was fucking hell, mate, be careful. Like, look at that. See that just came past me in the jungle? Be the size of your hand. Watch out. Just
Don't want
be
it in your don't
careful.
want it in your mouth slash throat.
Don't want that. What's that over there? Big scary emu thing. Not a scary emu thing. It was a big bird though. And I was like, what's that?
Jesus.
I was like, when you're in the jungle, Ben, what you're mostly thinking, in my experience, is be
Especially in the
careful.
dark.
Yeah.
You don't know what's coming.
But she,
Um,
like, this is the one scene, ironically, for the jungle where everyone else, I would say, the gaze of the camera is very much that they haven't got bras on because they have to have a bit of like sexy time in this one. She does wear a bra in this one to maintain a PG-13 certificate.
yeah.
So, so she goes, "Hey, up, Gary, want to have a look at my underwear and give me a snog?" And he goes, "Yes,
Yeah. I've
please."
put this bra on especially for this scene. All right.
Yeah,
The sex scene
the
is when
sex,
I've
and
decided to wear a
I
bra.
put this sexy lingerie bra on. So he goes, "Oh yeah, that's good for me." So they stop and have a bit of a snog, but then they get interrupted, and they're screaming in terror. Um, but thankfully, don't know why he was following them into the jungle when they were macking on. But we hear a gunshot, and
He was definitely watching like a perv, but fortunately, because he saved their life, he doesn't have to answer that question now. He can
yeah,
just be like, "I saved your life."
don't worry,
But
everybody, not an anaconda, just a delicious pig.
just a delicious pig.
And he goes,
Um,
this pig, a bit like tarantula hairs, it'll blind you. Got the tusks,
yeah,
they go for
they
your
say
eyes.
it'll gore you with its tusks in the eyeballs. Yeah.
Why would a pig with dangerous tusks have to go for your eyes as a human? Just go for your soft belly.
Oh, you're nuts. You know?
I would say
And
most human parts are vulnerable to tusk.
yeah. Oh, don't tusk me.
Maybe
So
your
yeah, he
elbow, the
drags it over.
strongest defense against tusk.
Doesn't he immediately like tell him? He's like, Mateo, we'll eat this tonight. Don't worry about it. No, don't order out. Don't order out. We got the
Even though
pig.
he
We
only
got
just
the
caught a
pig.
massive fish that morning. Plenty of
Mateo's like,
wasting
for
it.
fuck's sake. Mateo's like, what job don't I do in your eyes? What do you think I am? Odd job man. Literally man
I'll
of all
tell you wrong.
trades.
I'm qualified as a ship's captain. I don't have to butcher a pig.
Mateo, Mateo, my car. The carburetor, man. The Mateo. Go and sort it out over there. Mateo, this NASA rocket ship gotta get up to space right now.
It'd be like
Mateo.
you, Ben. Your job in design or anything like that. It'd be like your boss coming up to you and going, "Hey Ben, hey Ben, hook us up with these Big Macs, will you?"
Mateo, out of a Big Mac meal, Mateo. Take the gherkins and shove them up your ass,
See,
Mateo.
the accents we've slowly developed on there, Ben, is apparently your one is sort of the Godfather in Taxi Driver, whereas in my little one there, I appear to be Watto from the Phantom Menace.
Both equally
Jedi
good
mind tricks don't work on
impressions.
me, only money.
Oh yeah. I don't think Jenna Mind Tricks would work on Paul
Only money, Paul.
Jerome.
$1 million for a snake. Who are you
He's
selling that
definitely a
to?
money man. He's talking money. Um,
Who are you selling that to, though? Is there a standard thing? Like, can you pop into San Diego Zoo and say, bought your big giant
listen,
anaconda, green anaconda from the cat?
drag
And
it
they go, oh,
in
yep, as per the price list, $1 million. There you go.
because I feel like is he trying to catch it or kill it? He wants. Oh
He's
no,
trying
he
to
wants to
catch it.
capture it alive because at one point, like someone goes to shoot and he goes, "It's no use to me, Dad." Backhands. I feel like he backhands her, but I don't think he does.
Tackles her. Tackles her.
Tackles her. Yes. No use
Um,
to me, Dad. I'd rather your boyfriend was dead than my little itty bitty snake friend.
so he's cooked him a pig, and then they're heading along, and the next thing they find, oh no, they have
Stuck.
to. The first thing they do is go the next morning. Bloody ropes get cut in the propeller, don't they?
Oh
Some bloody
yeah.
Mateo's left the ropes hanging off the end.
Mateo, why did I tell you about these ropes? He's like, I don't know. So they go, right, someone's gonna have to go down there and untangle it. And we know this is a ruse. It's all a big setup. And he knows that Dr. Stephen Kale, aka Hero of the Day, is gonna get down there in his scuba gear and do it.
Can you imagine if
No
it had gone
suit.
the other way? Because Paul basically goes, "Oh, it should be me. I should be going down there." And
And if they went, yeah, all right.
oh, thanks, mate. On you go then. Do you want to
It
use my
is a proper
respirator? He's like, there's a wasp
it is a proper dick swinging contest, like with every scenario, isn't it? Like basically, it's they both want to impress Jennifer Lopez. For some reason, Paul Cerrone, a middle-aged, grizzled snake man, in more than one sense of the word, seems to think he's got a chance more so than Eric Stoltz. And with a name like Eric Stoltz, he goes down there, gets stung by a wasp. I've been stung by a wasp,
That'd
and
be
he
the
has an
last
immediate.
place you'd expect it, to be fair. You'd be underwater, you'd be worried about anything else. You'd be like, tell you what, there's one
Get
thing I
these
can take
ropes out
comfort
of the
in.
propeller. Having a really great day. Gonna get to sleep with J Lo again tonight. My life is great. Stung in the mouth by a wasp. They pull him out. He's unconscious. He's having an allergic reaction. His throat's all swollen up. Paul Cerrone's been wanting to do this since he met him, which is stab him in the neck. Performs the old what do you call it? What do you say?
Tracheotomy.
Tracheotomy. What was that? What did I say? It's a weird word, isn't it? It's a
Yeah,
weird word.
he does the
Um,
tracheotomy, so he stabs him in the neck, whacks a biro in there, and he
the
goes, "Oh, he's fine now."
softest looking neck I've ever seen. I know it's an effect, but my God, his neck looks like it's made out of soft cheese. It just literally goes.
It's like
Don't even give it any pressure. It just goes, slides it straight in there.
good got a neck made of boursin.
Slides it into his Borsan neck, puts a little biro. I don't know. I feel
Yeah,
like that's always what it is.
he
But
he
is it
like
that?
goes, spits the
Oh
ink bit
yeah,
out of a biro, puts
yeah,
it
he
in
does.
there.
It's always a biro. When I'm just sat in my house having a biro to hand, is always I can never find one. He's on a bloody boat in the Amazon River. How's he got a selection of Bics ready to go?
Or make sure it's one that's run
This
out.
is a red ink one. No one's gonna miss this.
Yes.
Jams
Spit
it
it out,
straight.
get it in. So he puts the biro in his neck, and then that fixes Dr. Kale. He can still breathe again. Thank
While I'm
goodness.
down here, anybody want some of this Borsan? I got crackers. Just
Yeah.
digging into his lovely soft neck.
Stop eating my boyfriend.
Stop eating my boyfriend's neck. So yeah, he has been written out of the film now. Well, no, he still has a
Yes,
part to play.
he comes back a little bit later for a
He's
save the day
yeah,
moment. Because let's face it, like, don't know why he doesn't help out. There's nothing wrong with his legs. Just his throat that
yeah,
doesn't work.
that's true. Puts him in. He's in a little sleepy area. Puts a little mosquito net around him, and they come and visit him now and again for quiet moments to see if he's still alive. He's
Yeah.
still alive, yeah. So now the mission is no longer film a documentary about the Shirashama tribe, people of the mist. Is that
It's
what they're
get
called?
him, yeah, it's get him back home. And Jon Voight says, "Oh, it's this way, man." And he takes
Hey,
them.
I know I said before I wanted to go this way, but now this way is the hospital. So let's go this way. Let's go this same
Yeah,
way.
yeah. So, and they go on there. They go, uh, "There's a big, massive, like domineering gate here in the way." And he goes, "Oh, that's new. That's new. That one there."
Yeah, yeah. They say, I thought you knew the river, Paul. And he goes, I did know the river, but this is new. And then they say like,
This
oh, but
ancient, like decayed wooden gate. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, this ancient wooden gate, which is older than time.
yeah, like a
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
prefab IKEA gate.
Luckily though, I've come prepared because in my rucksack, my inventory, open inventory, 2 sticks of dynamite ready to
Yeah.
go.
He says,
Um,
"Come on, Owen Wilson, come and put these sticks of dynamite on here with us."
Oh, he's always telling people what to do, but also like if I was Owen Wilson, I'd be like, I ain't getting in that water. What are you on about?
Mate,
In
just
any
got wasped a minute ago. I ain't going in there.
will the dynamite not still do a good job if we just go over to it on the boat and just plonk it in and then drive away? Is that
Yeah.
why have I got to get right in there? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And there
So
is a scary moment where we're supposed to think that like he's being stalked by something, isn't there? Because he kind of goes, "Whoa, there's something down there." And what does Paul say?
you're right.
You're right. There is someone down there. Adrian! No, no. Adrian comes out of the water. Um, blows up the old because really they're like, if we don't blow this up, it's 2 days the other way. We'll be delayed by
and he's
2 days.
and he's poorly. He's not going to make it. Old Stoltzy.
Yeah. But now it's slowly like pulse around, taking over the boat. He's getting Owen Wilson on his side. Obviously, he's got Mateo as well, but Mateo is not long for this world because soon he gets got. They
But
go to another boat looking
all the boat
for
gets
fuel.
covered in snakes. Snakes go everywhere.
Oh yeah, snakes everywhere. Why do they have to be snakes? Oh no. Snakes go
Snakes are
everywhere.
everywhere. William Wordsworth Winchester Whittington gets a gets a snake, little tiny puppet snake on his finger. He's like
Oh yeah. Get
chowing
this!
down on him.
Can you get this god flaming thing off of my finger? And Paul comes over and like slices. What does he do? Just slice it off?
Just squeezes its head so he goes and he grabs
Yeah.
it by the little ear, and he's like,
Oh, that's the equivalent of someone grabbing Paul Cerrone by his ponytail.
yeah, it's like,
Very rude. Slings it off. There's a lot of like proper macho moments in this, mainly from Paul Cerrone, that he needs to do to assert dominance. But now that Eric Stoltz is in a coma, his plan is pretty much coming to fruition. Yeah, they go to another boat looking for they find Danny Trejo's boat, don't they?
yeah,
They
trying.
say,
Danny
I
Trejo's got
know,
no fuel there though.
I know this boat. It's my friend. And they say, oh, is he a bloody poacher? And he goes, poaching's illegal. Poaching's illegal. What you gotta do? And then he goes, so they go, what do they find on the boat? Nothing. No, he finds something, doesn't he? What does he find? Can't remember.
There's not much on there, is there? Like I forget, is this what gives him away?
This is like if you know when you go into an area in a game and it takes you ages to get there and then you get there and you're like, there's nothing here. What's the point of this bit then? I'm obviously missing something. I would spend like another hour there looking.
A story bit
Um,
hasn't triggered there. Later on, you go
story bit
back and
hasn't
it's
triggered.
like, yeah,
But a story bit does trigger, which is Mateo getting, and again, it's quite an instantaneous reveal of the Anaconda in daylight, and we immediately see it like in both puppetry and CGI mode, where and this was another iconic shot, which I think was in the trailer, which I saw lots, as the snake appears, and it's like Mateo like going, "Whoa," and then getting
yeah.
getting
Um, I tell you what, the
squeezed.
anaconda likes doing though. It loves to get people against a stick of some kind, the mast of a boat, just
Yeah, yeah, it
a big
does.
stick in the water. That this one's there. I guess it's just primarily so we can see a stick get
Yeah,
broken, so he can
yeah.
also. Oh, if the stick's broken, he must have been snapped in half.
He is also, yeah, I think it is it's exclusively to represent that. It's squeezed so hard that not only has it broke the stick, it's obviously broke that person, broke their back or whatever.
Yeah.
So
So
Mateo gets got, and then Paul Cerrone is a right bastard about it. He's like, "Oh, Mateo, he was with me a second ago," and he go, "Oh, we're gonna have to go look for him. You go and look for him, Jon Voight," and he goes, "No,
not this time, I'm afraid. Maybe some
not
other
this time,
time.
Mateo. Who's gonna do your dirty work if Mateo's not around? Mateo!" And it's almost like I think he wants to cover his tracks a bit by getting Mateo got,
Yeah.
doesn't he? Or he wants. I think he realized at this point that he can manipulate Gary. He started to befriend Gary. He's becoming his new number two.
Yeah.
Mateo, I think he thinks Mateo's going to be a bit of a liability in this situation. I essentially want the million to myself. I think I can kill off the people who are going to get close to it.
Yeah. And that's the thing though, Ben. Like how Paul, what's his plan here? So he had a boat, right? And he was gonna go up the Forbidden River, and he's got the dynamite and everything like that. Why does he need to stage the fact that he's crashed his boat and get Mateo to come and pick him up
It's a good
to
question, you
hijack a
know.
crew?
It's
Why don't
a
you
good
just go?
question. Why didn't he and Mateo just go? Unless you went this, Mateo. Today's the day we're gonna go get the Anaconda. Mateo's
It's
like, I gotta do a
booked.
boat. I gotta do a bloody boat tour. I'm booked in. They booked in advance. I gotta go and do the boat tour. And he's gone, Mateo, you're breaking my balls, man.
Yeah,
He's like,
the one thing Paul can't do is drive the boat. I've got myself, Mateo, and then he just immediately fucks his boat into the bushes.
he goes, oh, driving a boat, is it? How hard can it be? Go and stop. Oh, fucked it. Smashed it into a wall. Into a tree. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. What is the answer? There's got to be the answer. I feel like we've got the answer, but for some reason we've bypassed it. So yeah, he's gone. Old Mateo. They searched the wreckage of the poacher, but there's a photograph in an old newspaper. Here we go, that reveals Mateo, Cerrone, and the poacher were working together to hunt animals, including snakes. Um, including snakes. Bloody hell! Again, that is a plot device. That is the lore we need for this story. If this was a game, you'd find that photo and you go,
Evidence boat.
evidence, Bob. Mateo Cerrone and Danny Trejo were together all along hunting the animals. Poaching's illegal, he said. So apparently this male anaconda is, it says a giant male warrior anaconda,
So that's a
25 feet.
Manaconda.
A manaconda attacks. So 7.6 meters. But that's a big one, isn't it? Oh yeah, they found the skin as well earlier, didn't they? The old
Yeah.
the shed
It's a
skin.
snake skin. It's a snake skin, but this is old. So whichever shed it is grown a lot, even more so.
And they say, yeah. Obviously, basically just leave Mateo. Ice Cube goes to look for him.
Oh, they
Not
have
comes
a
back.
yeah. Ice Cube goes to look for him, and don't they say, right, we'll wait for tonight, and then in the morning, if he's not come back, we'll go. And he goes,
It's the morning. He ain't
Oh
back.
yeah, it's the morning though, Mateo. He's like proper. He is a proper condescending bastard. I feel like you take immediate dislike to him. And how does he? He essentially. How does he take over the ship? Really? Because I think there needs to be another.
so basically, they're carrying along, and he goes,
Well, we could go, but we can't turn back. Lose the time.
and then that's when
That was good. That was good. I like
and
that
that's
bit.
and that's
That
when
worked.
and that's when Gary is like, "Can I do an Owen Wilson? Wow.
Wow. Wow.
So
So they do a mute. Is it called a mutiny when you take over the
yeah,
old
so
bloke?
basically, he gets Gary on board. He says, "Well, come on, we've at least got to cover the whole documentary's a write off. Let's at least get
Oh yeah,
$1
100%.
billion worth of snake." So they're on board, and they say, "Right, we're going to hunt for the snake." So, Jon Voight shoots a little monkey out the tree, freaking blows him away with his rifle.
She blows him away. Poor little monkey going about his business.
That monkey. Hey, if we're gonna catch a snake, we need bait. We need bait. The little monkey.
This monkey's going to come back a little bit later. And,
He blows him away so hard that it doesn't only shoot the monkey, it knocks the branch out of the tree, obliterates him like he's the jackal trying to shoot Charles de Gaulle from miles away. He gets out a massive rifle. It feels like to
Terrifying.
that monkey, it's like Super Mario Brothers, like a massive bullet. It comes at you like,
Oh, and what do they do? It's like nighttime when they
so he
go
puts
hunting.
the monkey on a little string like he's fishing for an anaconda.
He's like in his inventory now. He's got dynamite. I reckon he's still got some dynamite left.
Dynamite. Then he
Dynamite,
combines
dead
monkey
monkey,
corpse with
and he's
fishing
also
rod.
got bucket of monkey blood for
That
later.
doesn't come out till later.
Later on. So yeah, searching for the old anaconda, and it
So he's
attacks.
fishing for
doesn't
and
it?
he catches it, and then it comes out of the water. Then this is the manaconda because we get the woman anaconda a bit later on.
Is that right?
Yeah, there's two anaconda. Maybe one of them's the
Oh yeah,
CGI, one of the
because
other
the
one's
queen
the.
anaconda is like a 12-meter one.
So maybe that's it. Maybe that's the difference between CGI and puppet anacondas. So the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the anaconda comes up, and this is where we have another big battle. Where
It throws the monkey at Warren Westridge, doesn't it?
yeah,
Slings it out of the water, and this is a great shot as well. It's slow motion. It is pretty terrifying. This when like he's just like, oh, I'm surprised he don't get got at this moment. I think. Oh yeah. Also, we need to mention that since Mateo's gone, Warren Westridge is now driving the boat, and he's taken on this persona of rather than being a like well-to-do posh David Attenborough type, now he's like still posh, but like driving the boat, smoking tabs. He's got like a bandana on.
yeah.
I don't know who he thinks he is.
He's a cool dude now.
Yeah.
He's in his Raffaella era. He's cool but rude. So the anaconda comes out. It's thrashing them all around. It's like a martial arts movie. They're taking it one at a time to fight the anaconda and all getting like knocked out or into the
Yeah.
water. It chases J-Lo into like the
Into the boat.
office.
Yeah.
It knocks Owen Wilson and what's the other lady's name? I keep wanting to call her Tracy. That's
Denise.
not her name. Denise. Um,
Denise.
so it knocks Denise and Gary the Soundman into the water.
Hmm.
They come out of the water, but Gary gets wrapped up by the snake. And I almost want to watch back for a bit of continuity here as well, because he's been wrapped up by the snake, right? And it's got the mask.
Yeah.
But as he gets up, they go, "Oh, Gary, give me my hand." And a hand comes out. Has he got his hand out?
Yeah. It just got him, but it left his arm
He's like,
out. He's all right. Play tight in here, but get my hand out. I'll be fine. Give me your
yeah,
hand. But
he takes
no.
his hand out. But
Who goes to shoot it?
Jennifer Lopez, I think, or Ice Cube goes to shoot it. And he goes, "No, it no
Jennifer
used to be
Lopez
dead."
fires the gun really weird in this film. Like she's too like animated with her arms. There's where she takes a final shot on the Anaconda later. She kind of goes, "Yeah, have that!" Like proper like whips it. I'm like, Jesus, be careful with that powerful rifle. He's no good to me, Dad.
So he
Sends
knocks
someone
him out and
flying.
then allows Owen Wilson to get slurped off. Slurped off so much that his surprised slurped off face, as we see the
Yeah, underwater,
Anaconda
yeah.
swimming under the boat, his face is pressed up like the
Pressed.
cover of CD-ROM game Gabriel Knight, The Beast Within. Pushed against the side of the Anaconda like,
It is pushed against that, isn't it? Yeah, it's like what's that thing with the pins that you put your face in?
yeah, he looks like one of them. That's what the inside of an Anaconda's like. Just a big pinboard.
Denise goes into like ultimate grief mode, right?
Oh,
She,
like
so not only has Eric Stoltz been written out of this by wasp sting in the mouth, Denise has now been written out of this by grief. She's useless. She's
yeah,
just
oh yeah, call her Keris Matthews, because she is catatonia, is what she
yeah,
is. Absolutely.
she
And then
bloody
she
loves Owen Wilson. I tell you.
barely speaks a word for the rest of the film.
Yeah, until she turns up dead. And when she turns up dead, she's got more personality than she is for this portion of the film.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, so she's catatonic for a little bit. And that's the point where Paul is like, "No, I'm in charge of this place now. Everyone follow me. We're gonna keep hunting for this anaconda." And this is when we have like that scene's all over, and then it's kind of a fast cut. It's like, oh, everyone's sad and miserable, but the next scene we get is Jennifer Lopez putting on a bit of lippy. She's
right. Listen, we've all tried to reason with Paul Serrone, okay? We've tried to reason with his mind. We've tried to reason with his heart. I'm gonna try and reason with his knob.
that's her plan. So she's put on a, let's face it, grubby old Paul Serrone.
Oh,
That lipstick ain't gonna be make or break, is it? He's like,
I
"Oh, I
think
thought
he
you'd have
even
made a bit of effort, you know what I mean?"
I think he even says at one point, like, been a while since I had a woman. He does say that. Been a while since I had a woman. I've been making love to the snakes all this time. Me and the snakes, we
You're
love
like,
each other.
your accent is becoming. I think by the end of this race, you're gonna actually just be Mustaf.
Oh God, I'm not trying. I'm not doing it on purpose.
Um,
So
but
basically, the plan is, I'm gonna get him all riled up and horny, so
I'm
that
gonna
he drops
steer
his
the boat a little bit.
so he drops his little snub-nosed gun, wherever he's got,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
because that's when. Oh, this is quite brutal actually. This is one of the most like intimidating and confronting bits of the film. Um, Wee Willie Warren Worthington the third Esquire says, "Hey, this ain't your bloody boat, is it? This isn't your boat, sir. I don't think you'll find." And he goes, "Hey," slapping him round the face.
yeah,
He's
just being
like,
a big old
he's
bully,
really
isn't he?
going, "Hey, I feel like you're in control, eh? Hey, it was my
Hey,
boat."
Hey, 2 minutes ago you were David Attenborough. Now this time you got a little you got a little bandana on, you're smoking a cigarette, you're driving the boat. Who'd you think you are?
slapping his face.
Stop slapping me, all right? You can drive the boat.
You could drive the boat.
All right, I'll be honest. My name's not William Westbridge the third. I'm actually just Kev. I'm Kev. All right, yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
Kev.
Yeah.
So he's in control now and they're driving along, but Jennifer Lopez, she hatches her plan, and then while she goes up and says, "Oh, actually, I think you're real sexy." And he goes, "Oh, actually, yeah, he's up for it. He's DTF." And like while he's giving her a while he's giving her a little snog. She's
Attica
steering
needs
the
to
boat.
snog at him as well. She
He
has to
has a
quite
he has a
snog.
quick look in a little mirror, and he sees Ice Cube sneaking up to
Has he got a baseball bat? He's
yeah,
got
to
something
sneak
he's gonna
up to
hit with.
club him with a baseball bat, and he captures him, like batters them both, and he's like, ah, you think, and he gets his gun back and it's like, ah, you think you had it on me? But little did you know, in another scene, we'd see the background, you would see old William taking up and go, now
William.
this apex predator, my fucking golf club, is gonna smash the shit out of this old man's head. And that's happens. He gets him through the glass, um,
Oh yeah.
beats fuck out
And
of him
he's
with the golf club.
and he says,
He kills it. He
asshole
bashes
in
him
one.
like Andrew Ryan in Bioshock, smashes his face in with the golf club. He goes, "Do you want me to bash him again, like for old
Yeah, yeah.
time's sake?"
And they say, "Oh, we've had enough of that. We've had enough of all
Chuck
the
him in the
murder,
water.
even though the murder's been committed by this guy, pretty much. But we're not as bad as him, so let's let him live. So tie him up. Um, why not?
Tie
So
him
they
up
tie
and
him up.
leave the traumatized woman to guard him. Leave Denise to guard him.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Leave Denise to guard him, and don't gag him or anything, so he can whisper horrible, creepy
so
nothings
he
to her,
can wind
and
her
keep
up.
calling her baby bird, and say, "Gary was a bitch." No, he doesn't say that, but he pretty much does, doesn't he?
Um, so he's captured. They're at a great. They're driving along, and they come to like a like a waterfall, right?
Yeah.
Come to a
Come to a
waterfall.
waterfall with a big old tree next to it, and it becomes stuck. So Terry, Danny, and Wester, his name's Warren as well. I call him William. They enter the water, so winch it loose, getting stuck all over the place, aren't they? And while this is happening, this is when Denise is basically talking to Cerrone, and he's winding her up. He's like basically goading her to get close, and then well,
Unfortunately, he also has
she's
the loosest ropes in the world on.
yeah. Well, she's gonna shoot him, isn't she? And he's like, "Don't look in the face of people before you kill them. It'll haunt you forever." And I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't know about that. I feel like if I murdered you, Paul Cerrone, after all the shit you caused, I probably wouldn't really care that much. I feel like I'd done a good thing.
yeah. What he would have done was not go over really slowly and think. I think if he'd made your mind up that you're going to stab him up, just do it from
Yeah.
just walk over quietly and get him in there, get him right, get him right in the borsan, right in the
Yeah.
neck.
Bore sand him to death. But as he gets close, he doesn't. What's the name? Famke Janssen in World Is Not Enough.
He's Zenyeronatops him.
Yeah. Gets her in a leg chokehold and kills her pretty quickly, I think. I think she's fighting the good fight for a few seconds, but then she succumbs to it, and then he just what does he do?
You'd bite him on the thigh, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Does she just throw him in, does he throw her in the water?
Yeah, he just wazzes her in the water, gets the knife, cuts himself free, and
Mm.
then as the others start to have they got in the water to try and find something? Have they gone to look for more fuel or something like that? They don't.
I think no, they're trying to get themselves free again. They got stuck, and I think when this happens with Cerrone killing Denise, it's while the snake attacks again. So the snake's attacking. It climbs up a tree, attacks Westridge. I think the
Oh, and he
tree like
gets
snaps. The tree. Oh yeah, the tree snaps and falls onto the boat. If you remember,
yeah.
falls down onto the boat, and everyone like leaps into the water, like out of the way. Um, and
Westridge
then
climbs up the waterfall, and the snake's coming to get him, and then it
yeah.
snaps him out of the. This is the prime CGI snake, and it
Oh yeah.
snaps him up out of the air.
This is a good scene because you think he's just going to jump and he's going to beat it, but it literally catches him in the air, brings him up, and just eats him. Right? Isn't that what it does? This is the scene
Yeah,
behind me where he does a
slurp,
horrible
slurps him down.
gummy scream.
Yeah, these
Horrible
snakes
gummy scream.
shout a lot in this. They use a lot of the Frank Welker voice. I don't think snakes do go like.
Yeah, there's a lot of like loads of that shit happening as well. Um. So yeah, he gets killed. The snake attacks. Oh, I think it bites Danny, doesn't it? Bites Ice Cube, but Terry
Right,
like
then, and
shoots it in there.
you think he's almost being got. It's like slurping him under the water, but
Yeah.
J Lo is able to shoot it a few times in the head.
Yeah, we see Dr. Stephen Kell waking up with the kerfuffle as well. He's like, "Whoa, what's going on, bloody hell?"
So
Um,
blooming hell, trying to sleep here.
trying to sleep in it. Paul Cerrone, like, pretty much gets one up on everyone again. He's pointing the gun at everybody, even though the Anaconda's been killed, the big one.
Yeah, it's been
The
shot.
smaller one, sorry,
He gets
been
shot in
shot
the
in the
head a
head.
couple of times. It's sunk away. I think years before little backwards boy Gabriel would do a wicked chair throw, Paul Cerrone does it here
Oh,
because
does
J
he?
Lo has got him banged to
Oh yeah,
rights.
he throws the
Got him
chair.
banged
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
rights with that rifle. He just loses a chair right at her head. So
yeah.
have a chair.
Have this bloody chair. But then suddenly he goes, ah, ow, and I think, is someone pulling on his ponytail? No. Uh, Dr. Stephen Kell is awake and he's up and about and he's grabbed a tranquilizer dart and stuck it in the back of old Paul Cerrone.
Paul Cerrone goes, "Take me out of the film with you, Dr. Kell. I'm going to take you back out of it. I'm going to strangle your poorly neck
Yeah,
long
grabs his
enough
poorly neck.
before I pass out and fall into
Yeah,
the river with the drugs. I'm going to strangle you long enough so you have to go back to bed."
long enough. So, yeah, exactly. He's. I feel like he was only on set for a couple of days. They're like, go right, mate. Chris strangles him in the Borsan neck. And then Danny like knocks Paul into the river, right? Just knocks
Yeah,
him in. See you
when
later, mate.
he's been drugged and he's like, right, get kicked into the water unconscious, mate.
Yeah, of that. Um, so he can't. But then, who's left? Terry and Danny.
Terry and Danny, and they
That's
go,
the.
"What's this here? After we've got past this waterfall, there's just a base here."
Yeah, yeah. There's a this is like the final base at the end of the game. This is like the final level essentially. And they go, right, we need some fuel. Let's get it. But Paul has managed to catch up to
Because
them.
there's loads of fuel in here. Brilliant. What's all
There's
this?
absolutely loads. It's brilliant. It's amazing.
And then they just
Actually,
hear like welcome, and then they turn around and
oh yeah,
somehow in a snap cut, Paul has managed to knock them
knock
both
them
out
both out,
and
and they
them
both just
both up.
wake up.
I
Hey,
feel like
you
he's
should have
banged
killed.
their heads together like the Dracula in Salem's Lot. Just pops up in their kitchen and bangs
But
their heads
not to
together.
death. But not to death. He just
Yeah,
does it
not to death.
slightly lighter. And he wakes them up by dumping a bucket of monkey blood on them.
That
But
last thing in his inventory.
hey, monkey blood. And they're like, you horrible bastard. You've
For
done
a
my
second, when
nutting,
it
you
first
have.
happened, because they just commented on finding fuel, I was like, I knew he was a smuggler, but this is red diesel. This is a really
What is this? What is this viscous red liquid?
red diesel. That's
Monkey,
only authorized for farm
monkey
vehicles,
blood. Did you
Paul.
see me when I put on a shot a monkey point blank earlier? I've been doing that for years and collecting it.
And saving up their blood. What I
Brilliant.
do is to shoot one, fish it out of the river, stick a little juice box straw in it, squeeze it out into this bucket.
Yeah. Is this his base then? Maybe that's why he's got the
I
monkey blood
reckon
up
that's
in
his
about.
base, yeah.
It's his bloody base. And so he's using it as bait for a second, much larger female queen anaconda, which is 40 feet long, 12 meters. This is like alien queen situation. This is like the second form of the main boss, even though of course it's a different snake. It attacks the pair, suffocating them. Cerrone is like trying to catch the anaconda in a net.
Yeah, he comes to get the anaconda comes to get them, and this is his big plan. So after everything he's done, he's bearing in mind he has set up this thing with Mateo, lured another boatload of people, put a wasp in the
Oh God,
respirator of
it's
doctors
exhausting just hearing the plan back.
so they can go so they can need to go to hospital and go a different way. He blew up that gate to get them all through there, disposed of his former partners, recruited a new one, lost him, but his ultimate plan was to tie up two pieces of bait covered in monkey blood so he could Team Rocket style just have like a big net to catch it in.
Have a ridiculous big net. Oh, it's embarrassing. Sorry, Paul Cerrone. I had a bit of respect for you early doors, but now it's a shit show.
Just do your
You've made
mission,
a
mate.
right
Just
fool of
go. Just
yourself.
do a plan to catch the thing. Don't.
The anaconda attacks him, and this is like an iconic scene. Obviously, like he squeezes him until his like face
Is it
pops.
Puffy?
I'm assuming his bloody skull's been fractured or whatever.
Yeah.
And then starts to eat him, and we get that shot from within the belly of Jon Voight getting, which is pretty satisfying, I think, seeing him get a suitably horrible and painful death, getting sucked off into there, and we think that's the last of him. but it's not because even while it's so this is a bit silly, isn't it? Because it's got Paul Cerrone in its belly when it's still continuing to chase
Well, it's
Terry and
basically
Danny.
looking and saying, right, I'm gonna have to capture these characters, otherwise I would no witnesses.
No witnesses, exactly. There's a building which is a nest of newborn baby anacondas, right? This is sequel bait, I guess. Um, and then we see the snake regurgitating the still alive, partly digested Cerrone. When does he do the wink? When does he do the wink? Can you imagine being such a scumbag, such a sleazeball, that even after you've been crushed, so your skull fractures and you've, who knows what other bones are broken, and you've been partially digested, you're such a sleazeball that when you see, in all your agony and pain, when you see Jennifer Lopez, you still manage to conjure a wink. What happens? Does he just wink and that's it?
That's it. It just has a wink, and then he's does he get
Life
swallowed up
different.
again or no? Just gone.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So in terms of taking out the anaconda, finally, uh,
Feels like
it
after all the big
chases.
plans and all the things, like it's slightly anticlimactic in that they go, right, let's just blow it up in this chimney, shall we?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh
Ice
yeah, Danny
Cube,
pins its
yeah,
tail to the ground with a smoke with a
with an ice pick, a
ice
big.
pick. That's it.
Well, I guess the jungle, there's no ice, so just a pickaxe.
Yeah.
So he pins the
Good
tail
point.
so
Good point.
it can't chase J-Lo as effectively. It's kind of stuck halfway up the chimney, and they put
Yeah.
like a big trail of like paper, toilet paper going up to the tinnies of petrol,
Toilet paper.
and they and
Yeah.
they've got the timer running. Jennifer Lopez gets like stuck in a completely manufactured bit of thingy where she's like, Danny, I can't open. He's like, push it on the other side. She goes, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. What happened? And there a bit. What bit was it earlier where she was like, you like drop down, and she's like, it's too bloody high. I'm
That's
terrified.
now. She climbs up the top of the chimney, gets
That
off,
is
and she's
now. Yeah.
hanging off at the rope. The anaconda's coming. He goes, drop down. He goes, too high. Drops down moments later into the water. Um, the chimney explodes. The anaconda goes in the water on fire. Doesn't think to go underwater. It just flails about on the surface. Going,
Yeah.
bloody hell!
Oh, it's like horrible screaming noise, isn't it?
Yeah,
It is horrible. As we mentioned, like when talking about Sting, like the noises it was making, like this is a. I mean, I know snakes do make a noise, but this feels a bit
yeah. It's
OTT,
squealing.
doesn't it?
It disappears under the water, only to come up for one last little jump scare at the
One
end. At
last
which point,
scare,
Ice
yeah.
Cube just goes, "Have a bloody pickaxe up yet?" And he like goes, "Bitch," and sends it down
And
into the depths.
quite good sound design because it's got this horrible like scream that kind of like reverberates as it dies. Did you notice that?
Yeah, but no.
It was, yeah. It's like a sort of horrible, echoey death rattle or whatever.
Echoey death
Yeah.
rattle as it plunges to the depths. And you think, is that enough?
And
Are they just gonna go home? We're gonna cut. I think a lesser film would
so,
cut straight to credits, except we just get to see instead, like the next day at the base, Eric Stoltz goes, "Blooming hell, I'm
what's happened here?
tired. I was
Yeah.
being strangled just a minute ago." And a nice little touch for the scientific. Jayla has to like just put a finger there so the actually his voice box can reverberate.
Oh, yeah,
And he goes,
nice.
"What's that then?" He's got a sore throat. He's a bit hoarse from being stabbed right in the borsan. And
Hmm.
then the
Shirashama tribe turn up.
people of the mist.
It
Ice Cube
says
goes, "Get
here,
my camera."
oh yeah, can you imagine like a day's work after all that? Right, let's get to start filming the bloody thing then, shall we? Yeah. Interesting you should say that, but we're not actually interested at all because we just survived being attacked by an anaconda. Where were you when we needed you? Eh?
Yeah, unfortunately as well, the film's unusable because there is no sound.
Is that true?
Yeah, who's doing the sound? It's not
Oh
Gary,
my
is it?
God, you're right. You're bloody right, you are. It is unusable. Right, this is I'm gonna pitch this to you. Netflix is a bit of a weird one. We've got a silent Amazonian tribe documentary, silent film. Right, so I don't know.
It's called
Who's
People of
the
the Mist.
audience for that? People are the bloody missed. Right, okay. But there we go. That's Anaconda. Have you got any
Anaconda, we
name
did it.
game?
I've got a couple for you.
Okay.
Okay, what's
Hit
the
me with it.
what's the synopsis of the film?
A film crew is taken hostage by a insane hunter who forces them along his quest to capture the world's largest and deadliest snake.
Um, so a film crew is taken hostage by a famous worldwide fighting champion from Japan, dressed as his own grandmother.
How have you done this? How have you actually done this, Andy? Me and you are slowly becoming the same person.
Sync.
Nan E Honda.
Nan E Honda, very
Which,
good.
guess what? I wrote that down. Exactly that. Not even half of that. Exactly that. It was the third one I wrote down, but still.
Nan E
Okay.
Honda.
Yeah. Okay. Um, a film crew was taken hostage by an insane hunter who forces them along to a British disco where a very traditional dance takes place with lots of people in a line, but Paul Cerrone feels the need to ask permission before he does it.
Can I conga?
Can I conga? Correct.
Yeah.
Hey, you bring me here, can I conga or what?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yes, you may. Here's the other one. After getting in trouble for a for a dogging scandal, a a disgraced footballer of the 90s
Oh,
runs
yeah.
away from his jail sentence.
Runs away from his jail sentence.
He gets community
Stan.
service and he just doesn't go.
Stan. What's the word for doing that? Stan does something. Runs away from his community service. I can't think of the word, Andy. You're gonna have to finish it off for me.
Stan absconder.
Oh, why can't I think of the word? I can get the Stan Collymore reference. That's perfectly fine. Uh, okay. Oh, God, I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna do this one. A film crew is taken hostage by an insane hunter who forces them along his quest to capture the world's most largest and deadliest snake. And Harrison Ford's along for the ride, but he's not playing his famous Indiana Jones character. He's playing his other most famous character. But he's he's not stopping. He's not stopping to help find the snake because he's too busy playing his favorite game, a run and gun video game directed and published by Konami in 1986. Anything?
Han plays Contra.
Correct. Han plays Contra. I mean, I've even forgot the name of the film by this point, or whether it even rhymes. Han plays Contra. Anaconda. Not really, but you know, you got it.
Okay. Um,
Any more?
trying to think. I'm trying to do one live.
I got one if you
We
want
got
to
try and do one while I find an ending
Okay.
to this one.
A film crew is taken hostage by an insane hunter who forces them along on his quest to capture the world's largest and deadliest snake, but not before he tells the crew of the boat, it's not a ship, about that time when he took up jogging alongside UFC turned WWE performer with surname Rousey.
He told them about the time he took up jogging.
Jogging with
Oh,
UFC turned
ran
WWE.
with Ronda.
Ran with Ronda. Correct.
So a crew of a ship gets taken hostage, right, by a famous one-handed pirate, and he takes them hostage and forces them because he's sick of this little boy that never grows up coming and giving him grief all the time. And he says, right, when he comes round, you deal with him. You deal with him. You get on board and you work out his nonsense. I'm not having anything to do with him anymore. So what have those people in that boat become?
Han. I'm trying to figure the word again. Is it another big word?
No. Captain Hook's ignoring him now. He's if Pan comes here, I'm not even going to acknowledge him. You can deal with it.
Pan. Fuck's sake. I'll be honest, Andy, my brain is frazzled. You have to finish it for me again.
They are the pan responders.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Talking of pan, there's a little pan pipes at the end credits as well, right?
Yep. Congo
Lovely
style.
bit of pipe. Well, that's it. I can't do another one. We've got to rate the film
We
A
do
to
have to
E,
rate the film, don't
A
we?
to F, pluses and minuses allowed. I do keep doing this in recent weeks, jumping in there, but I I have a lot of fun with this, and I've seen it loads. You know what I mean? Like, so in terms of one of those cheesy B movie creature features, there are plenty of films that I would do a one and done with, and never really want to go back to. Something about this, the era, the cast, the combination of the CGI and the puppetry, like it's just good. And I feel like even though Jon Voight, I think he's a bit of a knobhead in real life for various reasons, for various right wing ideologies, and I think he treated Angelina Jolie, his actual daughter, quite
Yeah.
badly. So it's fine to hate him and think he's a sleazeball scumbag, but his performance really does add something to this film where you're just like, I hate him. I bloody
He's
hate him.
horrible.
He's horrible. Give me him. And like it's genuinely quite scary, I think. Like when they're in the water, I'm always like this. No, get out of the water. I'm gonna go for a B plus, you know?
That's
It's
right.
getting close. It's getting close to
I
A
feel that I
territory.
feel like you feel that you have to excuse that B plus. You can like what you like,
No,
live your life.
live your bloody life, mate. How about you?
You know what? It's a silly bit of fun. I love a creature feature. I love a creature feature. I like the setting of this. I like some of the kills. You know, the snake effects have dated a little bit. I think it's the combination of the CGI and the puppetry that is most difficult to comprehend because just the movement speeds are very different. But this
Yeah.
was a little bit of fun, and it's a bit like you see someone who goes on to become one of these like enormous stars. Seeing Jennifer Lopez, and obviously she was famous enough; she was the lead in this film. But seeing them
Mm.
in this like earlier stage of their career versus how famous someone like Jennifer Lopez is now, and how she's like matured into other acting roles as well. Like, it's interesting to see her in this early stage of her career. I like a lot of the other actor characters that
Mm.
they've got in here as well. Like there's things to enjoy in this. There's things to enjoy in this film. And as you say, Jon Voight, whatever you think of the real guy, maybe because of what you think of the real guy, he plays a horrible villain quite well. Um, so not quite the lofty heights of a B plus for you, Ben, just because of some of the age of some of the CGI in particular. But I'll give this a C plus any day of the week.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah, and
I think it's just one of those
I
films
am
I've
going to
got
come
great
and join.
memories of.
I am going to go. I won't watch Lake Placid just yet. I won't watch Lake Placid just yet. I'll wait until we're about to do it. But I'm going to go and look at some of these others. I'm going to go for some more
Oh yeah, man.
Anacondas.
I don't know why, but I completely forgot to read out choice reviews. I'm not
The
going to do it
choice
all, but
reviews.
I'll just give you a couple. So 4.9 on out of 10 on IMDb. This feels mad doing it at the end. I'm sorry. 41% audience score, 24% critic score, Letterboxd 2.6, and some of the choice reviews were Chris Evangelista, a movie that understood the assignment. Cleara Curtis, the cast of this is absolutely insane in the best way possible. I wish it was a cult classic. I think it is a bit of a cult classic, and I think
You
in
can
more
take
in
that.
years it will carry on. Krauser Slout says the only reason the snake regurgitates Jon Voight is because it can't handle all the scenery he's chewed throughout the film. Yeah, I think that's fair. 3.5 stars, that person again. Kodiak says abysmal, cringeworthy, take you out of the movie CGI, but J Lo is completely stunning and it's worth watching for her alone. I don't know why I bypassed doing that bit of the show. I was just looking at it just then. There we go. All
Probably
fair
too
points.
excited to get into the fun times of
Super excited.
I think. Do you want to do the traditional exit? So we'd normally do our outro, Ben, and our reveal of what we're talking about next week in the style of Paul.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I don't know who wants this. I don't want it,
I mean, I
but
want it
why
right
not?
now.
Hey, motherfucker. I don't know. He definitely didn't say that. Hey, thanks for listening. I know this, River. If you enjoyed the show, become a patron over at patreon.com/horror hangout. Mateo, thanks to patrons. Thanks to you all, you guys over there, patrons, especially Mateo. Thanks to Taj Easton for our theme music. Thanks to Danny Trejo for being my best friend. Thanks to J-Lo for putting on the little bit of lipstick to make me feel good and feel like I was still attracted to women for even a fleeting moment. Give us a rating and review over on that shit. We're on we're on Twitter, Instagram. I know the people over there. Facebook, TikTok, and the YouTube. Next week we got those with a real great guy, John Crinan. He's back on the show. Everybody. Oh God. For now. That's it. And that's all I got for you.
Oh, brilliant. I can't
could-
wait, Ben, and for everyone else, just in a normal parlance here. Of course, as we learned from Dead Silence, once again, beware the tale of Mary Shaw, not in this film. She had no children, only dolls. But
Only
we're going to
dolls.
see some dolls of a different sort next week. Previous Bristol Bad Film Club movie, all-time horror cult classic.
Stuart Gordon.
Dolls. It's recently had a 4K re-release.
Oh.
If you want to watch along with us, you've got
Oh,
time
yeah.
to get a swift order in.
Do it.
This is one
Get
I'd
on it.
recommend. This is a lot of fun. So yeah, join Ben, myself, and friend of the show, filmmaker. We're
Mr.
going to
John
quiz him to
Crinan.
see what
And
he's been up to in his filmmaking recently when we see him next week.
exactly.
Mr. John
Hopefully,
Crinan.
no more Paraguayan impressions next week. It won't become a regular feature of the show, despite, maybe it will. But
Returning
probably not.
character. Paul.
Returning character. Paul / Sylvester Stallone / who else did you say?
/Watto / Mos Def.
Wow. Anyway, that was fun. We'll see you next time.
See you later, everybody. Bye for now.
All the best
Bye.
now. Bye bye.